Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this grabbing racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
There we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. Well, not at E-Nuts bills, but we're going to talk about that. Welcome to show number 244 of the No Name RC podcast. Lefty's off the record, better than your regular news. I want to say thank you to Dany Paz. He came up with that quote, and happy birthday to Mr. Dany Paz. He went 35 today. But thank you guys. Welcome everybody to the Lefty off the record, show number 3. I know I said I was going to do these every 2 weeks, but you know, I've been kind of starting fires all week. So I thought it'd be fun to have, you know, just put on my fire suit and go right at it today. So I don't know, man. I miss hanging out with you guys. So thank you everybody for showing up. We only have 68 people on here. We need to get this up to 100 plus people. So please share this. I'm not bringing on Clayton until I'm doing what JQ does. Clayton's not coming on until we get 125 people in here. There we go. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything. Just happy to be here hanging out with you guys. Yeah. But before I do that, I have to say some thanks and have to pay some bills. So I would like to say thank you to all of you guys out there, the NNRC squad around the world. Thank you guys for all the support. Obviously, I cannot do this without you. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. This is, the NNRC's worldwide. Shout out to all my Australians that started the Asian Buggy Championships down there today. It's now 8 o'clock in the morning there in Australia. Scotty Ernst is down there. So that's going on. I don't know what's going on with my camera is blinking here. I might have to turn it off at some point and turn it back on. But thank you guys for joining. Thank you to all the patrons of the NNRC, all the YouTube members of the NNRC. And we're going down in numbers. We got up to 65. Now we're down to 67. We got to get up to 100 or we're not bringing Clayton on her. And then he could go home and he can just go sleep. And then we just bring out Lefty the Sheriff. But yeah, there we go. We got to get 100 people in her. But I also want to say thank you to these companies that support the podcast. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sampadal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, Racecraft USA, Stacked RC, Call RC. Shout out to WRC, FRCC, Florida RC Championships, House of RC, RCGP, and shout out to our drivers, David Ronnefeld, Jared Tebow, Robert Badier, and Alexander Hagberg. So thank you to all those companies for their support. We cannot do it without you guys. And I have to say happy birthday once again to Dany Paz. And happy birthday to my favorite RC driver that I love to interview, Aiden Horn. He probably went 19 today. So what's up, Gorilla Speed? How you doing? What's up, Matthew Lawrence? Also, joining us in the background is my good friend, Fred Costa from Brazil. He is going to be our producer. So in case anything happens, like the internet going on, or he's going to be looking for comments and all that type of stuff, because I think we're going to get bombarded once we get 100 plus people when Clayton comes in. So at 74. So I'm just going to keep talking randomly till we get 100 people. So please share this. Let's get 100 plus people in here, and let's have some fun because I think this is going to be fire. What's up, Lance McDonald? What's up, Frankie Contreras? Where's Frankie Contreras Jr.? We need to get him to Wicked Weekend. That's what we need to do. Nuno Silva tuning in from Denmark. Matthew Lawrence tuning in from Brisbane, Australia. Are you not? Oh, you are at work and you can't be at the Asian Buggy Championships. I feel for you. Happy birthday to BJ Williams as well. His birthday was this past Monday. BJ, answer my questions in the WhatsApp group. Thank you. We got Kevin Caston. Why has the gun not even given you a gallon of Sidewinder? Sidewinder is actually sending me some fuel finally. So, and some people. I don't have 100 people. No, not 100 people, Jake. Don't have it. So we aren't bringing Clayton on to that time. And Coil Boy says it's his birthday. He wants a shout out to RC Excitement in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. That's Toddy and all those guys. We are having the 18th annual RC Moto X Outdoor Dirt Bike and 1/8 10 scale racing. I'm looking forward to see how those dirt bikes make out up on that track. We got Mr. Joey Showers in the house. What's up, Mr. Showers? How you doing? Hope you're well. Kevin Thompson, I hope this brings you back to racing because I know you haven't been racing a lot. But yeah, we are almost at 89, 10, 11 more people. 11 more people. Also, guys, don't forget to hit that like button on Facebook or YouTube. If you haven't joined the YouTube channel yet, please do. We're almost at 4,000 subs. And if you feel like, supporting us a little bit more and I could send Fred some money for his time today, hit that super chat, right? If you guys want to see call-ins and all that stuff in the future on these lives, I need a producer. I need to pay for that. So hit that super chat and let's get going. We can raise some money and we can get a better program going here. So I see people are asking questions already. We got Martin from Canada. Kevin says, I have 24 gallons here. When am I coming to Vegas? I don't know if I'm welcome at Vegas, especially at Silver State. But anyway, that's a story for a different day. Caster Racing asks, will I have some hats? I will not have hats and shirts at Wicked. I will have stickers. So come up and see me. I do have stickers, and I will be giving them away to people. 90? Come on. You guys can't get to 100. What's up, Jay Smoker? I played you in the interview. In the intro. So, what's happening with Kyle McBride? Not much, I would say. But so we're having a live tonight. And then actually, Max and I are getting together tomorrow. Our guest this week is actually Kevin Habit. I have to record with him tomorrow. Max and I are recording tomorrow. So we will have a regularly scheduled podcast this week as well as this live. But I felt like, after all this fire and all this, just this pure, it was great to get people discussing things about RC and talking about RC and all that type of stuff. So I invited Clayton on, and we're dropping in numbers. No, Clayton isn't coming on. We ain't got 100 yet. I'm gonna have to be like JQ. Just wait. We ain't got 100 people. We got 85 people. We was almost at 100, and we dropped. I must be boring you guys. If I'm boring you guys, I'll just go. No, I'm only joking. Of course, I'm not gonna go anywhere. All right. Thank you guys all for joining. Let's get it up to 100. Let's bring Clayton on. We got 5 more minutes, and he's not gonna bring him on. I'm gonna go through some of these. We got some. Hey, what? Mike Bartkus. I know you have some questions for Clayton. Sasquatch from Massachusetts checking in. Sasquatch. There's another Sasquatch? Yes. I met you. I remember now. I remember at PMB. Yes. Sasquatch. I remember. We was trying to figure out who you was. Quick NVA, what's up? Chris Lemaster. Jerry Kleinbell, what's happening? How you guys doing? 89. Come on. You guys can't even give me 100 people? Come on, guys. Share this. Share this to all your Facebook groups. Share it. Share. Mike Barkus, a.k.a. Sasquatch. So, did you guys see I posted? I have found my new food challenge. Oh, yes. I am going to do the 1-Up Sour Challenge. I watched one of my favorite guys. I forget his name. What's his name? I posted it on my Facebook today. Come on. What's the guy who says, have a nice day? The Beast. I can't remember his name. Frick. Anyway, he eats a whole bunch of crazy stuff. I'll be doing that. And we'll be doing that to raise some money for something. I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll raise some money for something. All right, 91. 9 more people. And then we can bring Clayton on because I know you have a lot of questions. LA Beast, that's his name, Dacry, ma'am. I am going to do the 1-Up Sour Challenge. I'm looking for a charity to do that for. So 250 at Pine Hill. So maybe a few RC addicts short today. I Are you at Pine Hills? No, you're in New Zealand. It's Charlie Mac. That's cheating, though. He says I'm watching on 2 TVs, a laptop, and on my phone. 91. If I can't get 100, JQ's never gonna let me hear the end of this. Never gonna let me hear the end of this. But yes, we do have Clayton in the back. 95, 97. See, this is why JQ is persistent with this. 3 more people. 3 more people. 3 more people. I am putting on the sheriff's hat today as well, but probably after Clayton gets off. You know, he can't be around for all that type of fire. All right. We're going on. All right. Maybe we'll get this if we bring in some people. Paul Lynch says, what's up from Bluntville, Tennessee? Is that actually really a place? Or is that just a nickname? 98 people. 98 people. Oh, I really enjoyed Wheel and Trigger last night. It was great. I didn't watch it all last night, but I watched the replay today. I also enjoyed their Kevin Abbott interview was excellent as well. So if you guys haven't checked that, go check it out. They were wild last night. Ooh. What? Oh, Kevin Caston wants to see how many tacos or hot dogs I can eat. Yeah, but I mean, I can eat quite a lot. But I like the pain, I think. The pain means more. That's what happens. What's up, Chase? How you doing? All right. Jeez, we almost got up there. Matthew Lawrence says, Alex Bernard's time to... I don't think anybody can compete with Alex in Australia. That's for sure. Dacry Man, thank you for that one night. Jackery Man's always giving us some super chats. If you guys wish to support, hit that super chat button. We're going to improve our show a little bit. I go back to live calling. To do live calling, I need a producer. So I got to pay for him. All right. So we ain't getting to 100, and I know I don't want to keep Clayton up. Well, we are going to get to 100, but I don't want to keep Clayton up too late. 99. Come on. I need to see 100. One more. Logan might, but not sure. Hey, Alex is just on a whole different level in Australia. Let's have an eating contest. Hold on. Why am I not showing this? Why does it keep going away? I should just let my producer do his job instead of trying to produce this, right? Greg Degani could definitely eat a lot of hot dogs. He can eat a lot of hot dogs. He really likes hot dogs. I prefer the hot stuff, nothing cinnamon related, because after the toe of Satan, I think, okay, there we go. 101. All right, 101. All right, here we go. We're going to bring in Mr. President. I hope he has his flame suit on. And we're going to take it easy. We're going to have questions, but we're going to get through some topics first before we do that. So welcome, Mr. President.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
How you doing, Clayton?
I'm good. It's about 50-50, positive, negative, you know. Better than the old war. It was 90 negative, 10% positive.
I think there was any. Look, all right. So I understand why people are upset. I understand. Too. I understand why it was done. Should we just go right into that, or should we just? I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about your 6 months so far in as a president. We got to see you in action at, me personally at the Nationals this year when I was there. So I guess we'll start with there. If you guys don't know who this is Clayton Young. He just became president or El Presidente of Roar. He has been cleaning up shop as well. As he's let a few of the committee guys go. As we know about Jeff Parker. We also knew about that. I can't remember which other position that you had to let go.
Rob King and just recently Brent Klingforth.
Okay, so those guys have what positions in the committee?
Rob King was technical director. Jeff Parker was competition director. And Brent Klingforth was a secretary treasurer.
Okay. So we are actively looking to replace those committee members at this moment?
We voted in a very well-known name last night. I'm waiting to check their schedule and make sure that they are willing to do the job. But that will be a big announcement when that happens.
Okay. But we are looking for regional reps. Anybody that wants to be involved in Roar, they can contact at president at Roar.
President at roarracing.com.
Okay. Or just hit you up on Facebook too, because you answer those questions as well. Or
Sorry, go ahead.
Contact the Roar Facebook page as well.
Yes. Yep. And we do have possible promotions director. I need to reach out to him and do an interview with him so we make sure we're good. So we have people putting their stuff out there. So as long as everything's on the up and up, we should start filling positions here shortly.
Okay. And are you getting more off-road guys involved? I know you wanted to get some more involved.
This is actually a pretty good name off-road person that we selected for secretary treasurer. You will know them, no doubt.
Okay. So
everybody on this podcast will know the name.
Awesome. Awesome.
Just have to confirm the availability. We're going to switch the meeting night because it didn't work for them to a different day, and then we'll be good.
Okay. Real quick, shout out to all the New Zealanders, all the Kiwis out there. Dwayne Fletcher and Basha NZ. I know a bunch of them have gone over to Australia to race as well. One person says Drake. So I don't know. I don't know who it is. That's news to me, Jerry. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask the president after this and keep my lips sealed. All right. People are just people just throwing out names. Tebow, all this type of stuff. All right. So welcome, Clayton. Thank you for this. It was kind of impromptu because we had a little bit of some fire going on last week with the cancellation of the mini truggy and 4-wheel drive short course classes at the ENATs, which I kind of understand. I mean, we had 3 mini truggy signups, and I think it was 8 short course signups.
It was 5, but one of them was dropping.
Okay.
So I was going to be down to 4, and I'm like, well, geez, if we're down at 4, like, what are the possibilities that we actually fill it up? And based on every race this year, that wasn't really possible. But what I should have done is talk to my vice president, Garland Smith, who's an off-road guy and who held the ENATs last year, to find out that a lot of these people show up and pay the late fee, like almost doubled the entries on the day of the race, which makes it very hard for us because then we're shipping trophies at the end of the race to people's houses instead of having this stuff there for the race. And then we don't have enough support people because we think there's only going to be 75, 80 people, and then there's 150. So, I mean, the whole thing about signing up and making your plans is so that everybody knows what's going on. The track knows they need pit space. That's another thing right now is that a lot of these people that are still coming late, they're asking for pit space, and the track's like, well, we didn't think we had this many, so the track may end up having to rent another tent or squeeze in people to get enough pit space for everybody who's showing up. Well,
that's just us. Look, one thing he used to be a co-host on this podcast, Jeff Keaton, he always says, RC racers are their own worst enemies, right? We are our own worst enemies. If somebody's planning to go to a race like the ENATs where you got to travel to, the first thing you will want to do is sign up and have your pit space covered. Now, we saw a bunch of people complaining about the price of the pit space, right? Let me tell you something. LCRC, I paid $100 to have a tent, a table, 2 chairs, and electricity there. I'm media, and media doesn't really pay for that, right?
Right.
But I paid for it, and that's how these tracks make their money, right? Especially at somewhere like the ENATs with a very low turnout. So these racers need to sign up and avoid this. But to be honest, I don't feel that those 2 classes should be with 8 scale anyway. I have my own theories that we're going to go on about that. But I wanted to get that out there. You also brought up the rule 13.9 that there is a rule that if they don't have 15 entries by the time of the deadline, that the class can be canceled.
Yeah, and usually we do it around 8 instead of 15 because 15 is a lot, especially for on-road, which has been dying lately. They struggle to get a full heat of most of the classes besides the stock touring car classes.
I would agree there. I feel for the people that want to run mini truggy. I understand that people will sign up on the day and whatnot. I understand that. Like Sasquatch saying, he says, seems like a heads up notice would have helped. Might cancel this for lack of interest. I understand that. Even I talked to you and said, maybe you should just cut them from the race next year. And
I think my problem was I needed to make a decision. Mm-hmm. So if people were like going to show up or whatever, like it needed to be long enough that people could change their plans, not pack up their stuff, show up, and then find out, oh, well, we canceled it. Like That's what I was more afraid of. What I didn't realize is that there is a lot of people that don't care about paying late fees. That was maybe my mistake. I don't know. We'll see what happens at the race if actually a bunch of people show up or not. But
okay, I wanted to get one thing out because I know people ask this constantly. Membership cards, because John Bolton's asking about this, and there are no membership cards, right? Digital cards or virtual cards now?
Yeah, they go to your email. The email you pay with PayPal, they automatically go as soon as you sign up. That started back in May.
Okay. And if you don't have a number, what can you do? Just contact you.
Just leave it blank because it's on our webpage. And if you have a question, you can Facebook message me or email me, and I will send you a screenshot of all your information so you can make sure it's right. Okay. I don't know how long we're going to keep this process because things aren't getting done as quickly as I want to, website digitally wise and stuff. So we will see. I'm getting ready to talk to our friend, the fifth scale EFRA guy, House of RC.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to have another talk here shortly.
Okay. Yeah, he actually has a great question for the podcast later on today as well. Okay. I just wanted to remind you guys to share this to all your Facebook groups. If you're in the YouTube chat, hit that like button. Help us get up to that 4K subscription mode. And if you are feeling like supporting the podcast some more and helping us get better, hit that super chat for us as well. All right. So, Mr. President, 6 months in, it's been hectic. I saw you. It was interesting talking to you at the Nationals. I was even on you about doing like LCQs and all that type of stuff, but I have to admit, you was a busy man. I thought your RMT did a good job. I saw if you wasn't up there doing the referee jobs, you was out term marshaling for people, which is ridiculous because we should have term marshals out there for this is a national event. People should be out there term marshaling. You shouldn't have to be out there. But I saw Garland.
Well, I wanted someone to go do interviews with you, so I needed a marshal for them so they could do the interview.
That's true too. That was good. We had Dany up there taking pictures, which I thought was really good because it ended up being like awesome. Some of the early pictures that we had from that. So shout out to him. It's his birthday today, by the way.
Happy birthday, Dany.
That's right. So, how has been your first 6 months of being in charge of Raw? It has to be. You don't look like you had gray hair before you went in there. You don't look like you have any more.
So it's still gray on the sides.
Okay.
It's been overwhelming, but rewarding at the same time. But there was so many things that I didn't understand the depth of how bad they were. So when you have a bad process, you're like, okay, I'll just fix a process. Then you realize that it's more than a process. That's 25 people involved in the process and trying to get them to be on the right page or fire them and then find somebody to take that spot so you're not taking on the work and trying to get membership cards to be emailed out. Just every little thing. And then realizing that we do have still some old, can't think of the right word for that, but old rules in there that
antiquated
still need to be addressed. Antiquated. That's the word I was looking for. See, that's why you're the host.
Nope. So that I guess it's like when you go in to cut out. I hate to use this, but when you go in to cut out the rot, right? You don't know how far the rot goes in, and I think what's happened is that. I was talking about this today with my buddy Tony, and I was like, what's happened is that American racing has been without a proper federation for so many years. It's got to be about at least 15 years now. That's a lot of rot to get rid of. And not only that, there's people that are now into RC that have never had any type of raw experience, right? So they've come in, and how things are being done now is how they think it's supposed to be. And then when we see people who cry for rules and they want referees and they want all this type of stuff, well, there's rules and there's things that have to be abided by, but it seems like people want rules until the rules are applied to them, right? Yeah. So that can be in a lot of different things. And I say this all the time. It's the Wild West of RC. I think that's why the Europeans kind of look and they're just like, what the fuck sometimes? Like they just can't, because everything over there is so like it's done by the book pretty much. Don't worry. they have their issues as well, right? They have the antiquated people and they have all that type of stuff as well. But it's like rules just completely went out of the equation for the last 15 years here in RC. So you also got to change a mindset that has developed in the last 15 years. People say they want a governing body, they want this, they want rules, they want regulations. Well, that all comes with applying rules. And sometimes you have to make hard decisions as well. You have to make, you get credit for the good decisions, but you also have to make those hard decisions all the time as well.
Yeah. And for people that are listening, the 1/10 off-road Nats are coming up, and there is no one signed up for two-wheel drive short course stock or mod. No one. And the turnout last year was abysmal. So if you're going to run, sign up before it closes, or we will have this happen again.
There you go. Our own worst enemy, right?
Right.
Our own worst enemy. So after 6 months of being here, what do you see happening? Like in the next, how long is your tenure anyway? How long is a president's tenure in Raw now?
It is 2 years. We are amending the bylaws so that it will be 4. But that won't happen until after the election. So it won't affect my term. Mm-hmm. But if I get reelected, then it would apply.
Do you now, after being here for 6 months, do you think you want to do another term yet?
That's a tough question to answer because it is hard and it is frustrating when you make a decision that hurts a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But it is very rewarding when you have like Beach RC come up and say, we've never wanted to host a Roar race or have anything to do with Roar, but right now I would love to host a Roar race. Mm-hmm. You know, those things and having Tebow come up to you and say, I've been doing this for 25 years and I've never been to an event that was run this smooth from Roar. This is great. Thank you so much. Like the big names saying thank you, small people, not small people. Sorry, that's a really bad way to say that. But like the newer racers. Drivers, newer racers at Nats. When I was down there marshaling, they were like, dude, I had more fun here than I did at Wicked Weekend or PNB because we had so much track time and things just, kind of just ran and flowed and there wasn't any craziness. And like, I thank you so much. So, hearing it from all perspectives, mm-hmm. that gives you the energy to keep going, even when you do upset some people.
Well, I mean, to make omelet, you have to break some eggs, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that I have not seen this much excitement around Raw in many, many years, right? And I think so far you've done a good job. I know you can't please everybody. Like we have a lot of people asking questions, sir. We'll get to them. Don't worry. Yeah. I just wanted to get through some topics that I was talking about this week as well. It's always going to be difficult, right? With this type of situation. And look, I've told you, I have been one of the federation's most biggest and public critic. I'm now turning my focus to IFMAR because they need to be fixed. So, I've told you when I met you, I said, look, when you do good things, I'm going to give you praise. But when you do bad things or things that I think are not good, I'm going to tell you about that too. Now with the situation with the mini truggy and the 4-wheel drive short course, I was like, okay. But then the rules allow that, right? So it has to be like, you have to apply rules at some point. I understand that people are upset about it. I get that. I truly do. But I believe that these classes were added to the ENATs to make up for the low interest that this race has seen in the past, right? It's been around for a few years now.
I don't know the history of when 4-wheel drive short course got added to this. It seems like it's 10 scale class, so it should be with 10 scale, but I don't know.
Well, I think they did this because we're not getting the entries at the ENATs. It's just simple as that. That's going to lead me to my next topic, which is I had a vote this week and I talked to you about it. I honestly think that we should do away with the ENATs altogether because I don't think it's going to come to a point where tracks just aren't going to bid on it, right? Because for people that understand this, tracks have to want to do this. And also, it's not easy because the tracks don't really make money off the entries unless it hits a certain entry count.
Well, even then, so I think they make 1,500 up to 125, and then once they hit 125, they get another 1,000. But then the next bonus isn't. I feel like I'd have to look at the rules, but it seems like it's like $250 before you start making money per entry. So, and that was created based on the fact that we send however many people we send, and the trophies cost, and whatever else we got to pay for. So,
yeah, because you guys have to get paid. The RMT has to get paid. They have to pay for the time. So the track makes their money off the sponsors that they get.
Yep.
Pit spaces that they sell. They sell T-shirts and stuff like that as well. That's how they make their money. So the entry money and the money that comes from Raw isn't what people think it is. And tracks have to want to do this. So right now we're looking at, I feel kind of bad for Calandra. He's up there. He's trying to get this race going, right? And he's looking at the entry numbers and saying, like he's dealing with people.
Yeah, they put in RV spots and all kinds of stuff. Besides their building burnt down. Their carpet track had burned down
tell me
recently.
about that.
So they just rebuilt the whole thing. So they
Lipo
put out
people
tons of money to not just for this event, but like in their whole facility because of situations. So
I agree.
I hope people do come and get.
By the way, people, that was a lipo fire that almost burnt down the whole facility. Remember, I know all about lipo fires. I just recently had one. So I personally think this is what I think, and I want to, and it seems to be wanted because I had like 300, almost 400 votes, and the majority of the vote was to combine. I think we should just have a 1/8 off-road nationals. I was talking to you about this. I said, for the first race, I would do Nitro Buggy, Truggy, and E-Buggy. Now, I know the E-Truggy guys out there are going to get pissed off at me, but I would do it to see how that works first, right? Maybe throw in E-Truggy, but on a lower level. I would cap the races. Cap each class at 100 entries, right? Let's say we add E-Truggies, 400 entries. Most people are at the Nats on a Tuesday anyway, so you get there, Tuesday setup day, and do this how DNC does it and Silver State does it when they have a race like that. Wednesday will be practice. Thursday can be E-Buggy, E-Truggy day, or if you don't do E-Truggy, it can be Truggy and E-Buggy day. Friday, because Buggy is obviously 10-minute qualifiers, it can be qualifying day for Buggy. Saturday can be E-Buggy and Truggy finals day. You can, if you want, you can have the AAA mains the next day on a Sunday or whatever, and then Sunday would be a Nitro Buggy day. I would do away with the 2-minute warm up or whatever 2-minute run that you do every morning. Nobody needs that.
I don't think we did the 2-minute run this year. Okay,
so that's see, we didn't even need that. Don't need that. Give people a minute warm up time, and just probably got an RD in there that has had experience with high entry numbers, because you're gonna have 400 entries if you sell out all 4 classes. And I say the easiest way to do that, because it's obvious, right? It to me, it's quite obvious that for the E-Buggy E-Nationals to be successful, it needs to be combined with Nitro, because the E-Buggy guys only aren't showing up. It's simple. And the Nitro guys ain't making the trip over to E-Buggy, because for them, E-Buggy is kind of a side class, right? And that is the honest truth. People can get mad at me. I think that E-Buggy it's got a Worlds coming up, so it's gonna have more prestige to it. But Nitro guys run more E-Buggy. It's more guys that run Nitro and E-Buggy than there is just E-Buggy guys. And if we see these E-Nats with these limited numbers and not getting the interest that they want, tracks just ain't gonna bid. It's just gonna fade into oblivion anyway, right? So I would say that we should highly look into just having an 8-scale nationals, and everybody can do it. Can be all done in one race. People don't have to go to 2 different races. I'm pretty sure you will sell out with this, because everybody's gonna want to do it. I would start, maybe the days finish at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock days, a little bit longer. And I think that's the only way that we're gonna see this national championship for electric actually go on. I don't think it's going. I think with a standalone nationals, it's not going to happen. And then I know we talked about maybe splitting it, Truggy, and having a Truggy nationals and a Buggy nationals, but I actually think that's been done already.
Okay.
And I think that Truggy will suffer from the. I think it's just having the 2 races to go to that really gets that people can afford, right? Because to go to a nationals, you pretty much go in there for a week, right?
Yeah.
So I would do that. My personal, what I would do. And then what I would like to see implicated is like what they had recently here in Europe, which was the Euro Bs. So the Euro Bs are like for up and coming young racers, hobbyists who don't really want to go to like the full-fledged nationals. Also, if you have been in the top 50 of the Euro A's, you can't run the Euro Bs for like 5 years, right? So I would do that. And then I would say take the top 50 from the previous year of the Euro A's. They got an automatic entry into the next year. And then they take top 50 from the the national Bs, and they get qualified into the nationals. But it gives a pathway for young and up and coming racers, like races that have won Euro Bs. David Ronnefalk has won it. You know, he won that before. He's also a multi-time European champion, world champion, all that type of stuff. So all of this, it gives those people some spotlight. It gives people training that they need, because I've seen people come to nationals clueless. You know, everybody wants rules until they have to get a raw sanctioned LiPo battery, right? And they don't have it, or they're coming there with an Amazon battery that they picked up for $50, right? I know people want regionals and all this type of stuff. I think we can have regionals, but first we need to have regional reps, right?
Yeah.
We have to get everything filled out and get that going. But I feel that the national Bs will be great. It will be a pathway for younger racers. It will be of something of prestige for them. And I think that what they're doing, and this is the other kicker to this, right? So companies can send a top driver and a mechanic to assist their team drivers that are there. I don't want to hear nothing about sponsorship and all that stuff. You can be sponsored and be in this class. You can run this class, all this type of stuff. But that will add much more value to the companies, sending Dakota Fend and Barry Baker, or what's his name, or sending Spencer Rivkin and the King to the race to support those drivers without pressure, because that driver can be there. He can help them out. He can do everything he wants. He doesn't have to worry about winning that race. He could come there. He can support his drivers. This is exactly what they did here last week in France. Every company sent a representative or two to help out their lower drivers. I honestly feel that would bring much more value to ROAR, to RC in America, than having an ENETS, in my opinion. And
it sounds like a good idea. I can talk to manufacturers 2 weeks or a week and a half when I'm down there or up there in New York.
And it will bring so much more value for the company, right? And so much more value for the racer. He will be able to be there. And yeah, see, Lance McDonald's is saying he suggested this 8 years ago. I
wasn't around 8 years ago. I was just born.
I think this will be great. And then that national B championship, you have to qualify for the nationals through that, right? You come in the top 50. I don't know how all the ins and outs will work, because we're talking about multiple classes as well, right? But in Europe, if you make a top 50 in the Euro A's, you can't compete in this. You can't compete in this race. And it's more just like for people who probably are intimidated by the Raw Nationals, or young racers that are just, gives them some spotlight, because we don't give no spot. It's much better than having a junior class at the Raw Nationals, in my opinion, as well. Yeah. And I think that would make so much more sense than having a ENETS where people aren't attending, right? People just aren't attending to the ENETS. Make that all one race. Get that out of the way. You'll get those 400 entries without a problem. Yeah, I guarantee you will get 400 entries. You'll get people racing all four classes if you include e-truggy. You'll be able to get that race done in a good time frame. Got a good R&D there who's used to working these big number races. And then people would have something to look forward to. Oh, I want to go to the national B so I can go to a national A. And these young, like this kid, Remy Bermudez, he just won it. He's fast, right? He's super fast young kid, but he's not in the A finals of the Euro A's, right? He can be one day, but this is like I tell people, think of it as a 250 class. Right. Some guys like Martin Davalos, who stayed in the 250 class until he was 45 years old and then moved up to the 450 class. That can still happen. That doesn't matter. But there's young guys who want to make a name for themselves and want a pathway to actually maybe doing this for a living. I'm not saying everybody's going to do it for a living, but you know what I mean. It's a step. I think Raw can do it. Now, qualifying for that might be a little different. That's where I would see the regionals come into play. But if we want regionals, we got to have people in those regions who have volunteering their time and or compensated somehow to organize these regional races and run them properly. When I say a regional race, we can't have a nitro buggy race with pro intermediate sportsmen. It has to be run how it will be run at a Raw Nationals.
Yeah,
it's simple as that.
That's kind of the whole frustration with some of these people that are complaining that, you know, hey, I've won all these side classes for years and I like the side classes. Well, yeah, that's why they're called exhibition now, because if you want to be a national champion, you should be competing against the best of the best. So the whole everybody needs a trophy, yeah, that's cool. That's not reality. Everybody needs to compete. So
Kevin Castle says, how is doing a national not a path? All you're doing is making a race for guys who would normally be in the D main of the national. No, I guarantee you that there's young guys who probably ain't ready to go to a national level race yet will be winning this race. And that will be their step. That will be their class of their qualifying in there. That take them top 50 from who made the top 50 last year. They're in. They are in. This will eliminate that. Oh, how fast
right now we do the top 24 goes into the next year, but it wouldn't be a big deal to do the top 50, especially if you're splitting it up. I mean, I'm open
just
to
thinking
all
ideas.
Look, yeah,
that's you guys' job. That's way above my salary cap and my brain thinking.
We don't get salary.
You know, that's how that you guys can figure out a format. But I just think that that will just. I always think of the youth, right? And every time I look at the Eurobees, a young David Ronnefog won this back in the day. A young Davide Ongaro and Marco Barufalo were battling out for first and second. All these guys are now top names in our industry. It can be the same in America.
Win something to kick yourself to the next level.
It seems to be working for them. Now, the only thing in Europe is Europe has individual countries. They have qualifying sessions and stuff like that. But the individual countries could be the individual regions in America. But for that
eventually
to happen,
I'd love to get to regionals qualify for nationals. But like you said, we have to get the regionals straightened out to where they're all running regional races, not few regions running races and the rest of them not running anything.
Right. Everybody has to be in coordination, right? And if the issue with having multiple regional races around America is that they're competing with other local races, you know, and then that race is going to have sportsmen and intermediate. That's where people want to go. See, these races eliminate all that that trophy chasing, right? This culture of trophy chasing and all this type of stuff that we've festered in RC. That's fine. We can have all of that. I don't care. But the nationals and Raw should be about how the rest of the world races, because
we're setting the standard for the rest of the world. That's part of my frustration right now with everything is that it's been run the same way for a million years and there's no change, and like it's just sitting here dying on a vine. So like when you came up, we're talking about the last chess qualifier. The only reason that I couldn't do it at the time was because it's not in the rule book, but it's not a bad idea to fill some gap of the hour break between the semis and the finals to have a last chance to get the last two in or something like that. Like I'm open to things that create excitement and fun in racing to get more people involved.
Yeah, because I would say if the top 25 of that B national, they make a B national, then they have to go race the A national after that. They can't go back to that B national for a while.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I just think that's more value than the ENATs right now. Because to be honest, there are some people that just don't belong at nationals. Like I know it's I believe that a national race is really for this top intermediate guys. The nationals that we have now, I should say, there's top intermediate guys to the top pro guys, right? That's what you're going to see.
Yep.
But there's a bunch of guys below that are good, that will be good at the national B. There's a bunch of young guys up here that are coming up through the ranks that can have something to look forward to. Because
and they can cut their teeth in a travel race, a travel national, to where instead of just being your fast local guy, they get to travel to somewhere and be out of their comfort zone, but not have the pressure of all the super pros that they're going to be 2-3 seconds off a lap. You know, they could actually be somewhat competitive with the bottom 50.
And they'll actually get support from a driver and a mechanic and a company without that driver worrying about wrenching on his car and doing all this type of stuff. So you had a junior.
If we can get that to happen,
I think the manufacturers would be silly not to get behind that, because it brings them so much more value because that's what these pro drivers are for, right? We got to use them in a sense like that. How many young racers at the national do you have a youth race? Isn't that a path? Yeah, but that is just a side race of the national, you know,
right, and it won't get them any support from the factories because it's like the pros are still working on their stuff, trying to get their stuff ready, so they don't have the time. Like you were just saying,
and not only that, you have like a driver like Little Bump and that kid Jonah Wilson, and maybe some guys that are exceptionally good racing against racers who probably shouldn't be at the nationals. They should be at the B nationals, in my opinion. So I think that but it won't hurt the B nationals. Lance is saying it will hurt the A nationals turnout, because if the A nationals is left at capped at, and you have 4 so this is also if you have just a 1/8 nationals, right? You have a 1/8 nationals with e-buggy, truggy, nitro truggy, because e-truggy is growing extremely fast. I actually believe e-truggy is more popular than nitro truggy right at this moment. But if you have all those 4 classes, that turnout won't matter, because you'll still get the interest that you need. I cap it at 100 in each class. I guarantee you that will sell out. I guarantee you that will sell out.
Right, but I think what Lance is saying, if you advertise the A and the B, then some of the people they'll just want to go to the B. They won't want to go to the A. So you just have to be prepared that your A might not sell out.
Well, the A is the goal, right? That's where the creme of the creme wants to glow. So you have to make the A a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to make it more
prestigious.
More, not prestigious, but more people want to make it there, right? You know what I mean? So they'll
be the pro champion instead of the amateur champion.
Right. You should make it where you have to qualify through the national Bs to get there. You know what I mean? So that some point, like, okay, I want to go to the nationals. It's not just about who can sign up as fast as they can, right? It's about, hey, I have to go through the national B in order to get to the national A. And that will then give that race give that national B some meaning, and give making a national A much more meaning than just signing up as fast as you can.
So Kevin Castor with that comment, I agree that if you race faster guys, you get faster, but at a national, you typically are only racing the speed of people that you're with. You don't actually get to race against the faster guys. You'll end up in a heat with the guys of your speed.
I agree. And I'm looking at the Euro Bs this past weekend in France, and I'm just like, this, and a lot of my Americans that do follow European racing, they all agree that this is something good, right? I watch so much companies send support for this, and I'm like, this as a manufacturer is much more valuable than what we're doing right now. And it brings both will have prestige, but one will be where you have to get to the national A, you have to go through the national B. And that's where people should be. Like, if you are a hobbyist, sportsman type of racer, the national B is where you should be. You should, like, the national A is for this top. It's like the big leagues, as Fran Chu says. You got to work your way up to that. So, yeah, look, Mrs. Fenn will know all about this. I think working your way up when you're young with top pro teachers, that doesn't stop. We got plenty of that going on. At these other races out there. These send Dakota Fenn and send Barry Baker or his mechanic to support these young racers. It'd be so much more beneficial than trying to get Dakota Fanman is trying to wrench on 3 or 4 different cars. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. So let's tackle this because John Bolton has been talking about this for quite some time. You'll never sell out anything if your national event never has a solid place and time of year. It's always the second week of August. If it's always the second week of August, okay, so he must be an on-road guy. So I know that
August, Texas Roar Speedway, it would sell out. It's the second week of August in Texas.
Yeah, that's going to be too hot. I think he's just using that as an example. I believe.
So typically the races are supposed to be the same time of year for each event over and over. I know Roar kind of messed that up, not this year, but the year before, for whatever reason. But most of the time, the carpet nats for on road are in March. The carpet off-road nats are in April, even though that's a brand new race. May seems to typically be on-road paved, but that kind of moves around depending on where it's raced at. But then August is usually 1/10 off-road, and June is usually Nitro off-road. But, I mean, I'm not opposed to having a fixed weekend, but we, as Roar, need to make sure we're not dumping on top of a race. Like right now, the ENATS is on top of LCRC's Nitro race. So some of the guys that would go to ENATS are going to be at LCRC. So the weekend choice was not ideal, especially
I think what he's saying is he
LCRC's
wants one place where they're going to be.
Oh, every year in the same place?
Because it's like, well, where's the Nationals in 2024? Well, this is America. You can drive anywhere in America. It's not like you got to fly internationally to go to the Raw Nationals. And I think just like the Worlds, which goes to each block every 2 years, I feel that the Raw Nationals should go to different tracks because then we'll get that comment. Well, if it's at one track every year, well, there's people got a home court advantage, right? Because they know the soil, they know this, they know that's what we're going to hear next. I don't think that's feasible. I think that you should spread the love. I think we need it might end up being at one place because tracks ain't bidding on it. That should be something we should talk about. How does a track bid on a Raw? Like, how does that work? How does that whole bidding system work?
So in October, we will open up all nationals to be bid on. And they'll go fill out the national bid template for a track, which basically is like what's the size of your track? Like it gives them a template on what things to fill in. And then they send that in, and the competition director, who we don't have right now, would then format all that stuff for the committee. And then we have a committee meeting, and we bring forward the pros and cons of each track, and the committee bids on which one to win. The last 5-6 years, that's been only one track that bids for each one, maybe 2 tracks once in a while. But I have a feeling because things have, besides this race, things have gone fairly well at every race that we've run so far this year. So I've had a bunch of track owners, even at the Fuel Nats. There's a track in Idaho or Iowa. I think it's Idaho that they just built this amazing facility. There's Kevin Hebert has a track up in Canada that is interested in hosting carpet nats. Like there's more tracks coming out of the woodworks that are interested in hosting a Roar race than I could have ever dreamed of. So I'm hoping this time we'll actually have choices.
I do agree with this, though. I think that we kind of know that the Raw Nationals, the Fuel Nationals will always be in June, right? It seems to be the first week of June. I think that should be locked in. I would agree with that. Let's lock in dates if we can for these. I understand that it's hard. If a race knows that that's going to be that race, then they know, okay, that race, that date's off bonds. I mean, you're probably going to have races that put that on there anyway, right?
Yeah.
But that's the Nationals. That's going to be the day. And I think racers will know that as well. I mean, right now we're kind of dealing with that with the Worlds, right? We're almost a year away from the Worlds, or just over a year away from the World Championships. And we didn't even know where it's going to be.
The
right?
on-road paved?
No,
Worlds?
we're talking about the off-road World Championships.
Well, we have the Brazil one, right?
That's what I'm talking about. But that's not been confirmed by IFMAR yet.
Oh, I did not know that.
No, there's been no confirmation yet.
Because I've asked them, because the U.S. drivers have asked if the Worlds is still going to be in Brazil, and every time I've asked IFMAR, they've said yes.
Yeah, we're talking about IFMAR. We're not talking about. We're talking about. But I do not agree with the nationals being in one place. I think that they should be spread around. I think they should be fluid. The date should be set in stone. But I think the whatchamacallit, the location. Because John,
sounds
he says
like
that
Lance
regional spread the love.
Be putting his resume in for competition director. To me,
He should be.
He's gotten all these great ideas on how these races should be done, and I think he would be a great person to join the committee when he's got the time to,
or be a regional rep.
I know. I think he should be competition director.
And that's not. I'm not taking a dig at you, but if you want to make that change, then join up. That's simple as that, right?
I keep bugging him. So
he says, "I signed," but you didn't sign up to be. Did you? Are you a committee member? Are you a regional rep? That's what we need to figure out. So that should be a vote too. So I'll put that up in here right now. I can't do it, but what do you guys think? Should the nationals be in one location every year?
Yeah, I think once you think about it, if it's in one place every year, the people that are local to that track will have a definite advantage, even if it's an off-road track, because you know the dirt, you know what their typical layouts are. You'll definitely have an advantage. My thing as a racer myself is I don't really care if there's a local advantage. If I'm not good enough to figure it out in practice day, then I shouldn't be champion anyway. But that's just me.
What? This is my biggest argument that I got from the Americans from them not going over to Europe and race, because they have permanent tracks and that they're worried about the racers having that advantage.
Eric Anderson just went and did the ATS race and got second.
But that
didn't seem to affect him much.
You know what? We're talking about on road. Sorry, we're not. We're on road. I'm talking about off road. So
I guess I just need to learn how to run off road better.
Yes, but if a Raw run facility, Raw gets the money. Well, Raw has to maintain that facility. I agree, because what I like about the Nationals is that it is in different areas, unlike other races that are in one spot all the time, because you got to go to different tracks. It's prestigious. It should be prestigious for a track to hold a race like this. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think we'll get there. I think as we turn Raw around, more tracks will want to host, and the tracks will be more of the prestigious tracks that hold the big races throughout the year.
But yes, people that race at that track and know that dirt will be there all year round racing on it. No, I definitely don't agree with that. Sorry, John. You know what? I'm not gonna do it. I'm not got my sheriff hat on yet. Not got it on yet. But that's what makes the Nationals great, right? That's what makes this race. That driver will always remember. I won the 2000. Like Tebow will always remember. I won the 2017 Nationals at State Line. Dakota Fenn will say, I won my second Nationals at Chico. I think it spreads a lot of love to the tracks. I think it spreads the locals, because there's people that may not know, if we go in the same system now, the locals that may not travel over to Chico to race, and they got a chance to race it. Sorry, John, I'm not in agreement with that. I'm agreeing with the times. I'm agreeing with the dates, but not in agreement with the one facility, because the world champ. Let's get something straight here, right? I know that in America there may not be a lot of rules and regulations, but in the world of RC there is, right? And the world is moved to different tracks around the world. Each block gets their turn. Well, I think each region in America should get that turn. But if
I the Charles McKenzie comment, like the six best worthy facilities that you can draw from, so it still move around. And if you want to host the Nationals, you need to be one of those top 6 facilities. That makes sense. We wanted it the best facilities out there.
Yeah, but how many times are we going to go to Thornhill? It's been to Thornhill 2016, 2019, and it's one of the best facilities in America, in my opinion. Right? But I would like to see it go to somebody else. Simple as that. If and the facility has to be able to hold it, right? It can't just go to some track in the middle of BFE. Is that the word? Am I allowed to use that?
Yeah, because you didn't say what it meant.
Okay. I'm just all right.
Boone Forest excitement.
All right. Let's get on to some more questions. Maybe you guys have. Do you have any questions for Clayton? Let's go through some. Let's see.
Actually, Jeff Stakowitz has a good question about Dirt Oval Nationals. There actually has been a track that reached out about holding them. We don't have a bunch of rules for Dirt Oval, so we're working on something. I don't know if we'll get done this year, but I would love to get Oval back.
So John's thing is about planning. Well, if you know that this date it's going to be the Raw Nationals, then you can plan around that. You can take your vacation time off on that. Look, man, let me tell you something. It's America. I can be in America tomorrow. I could book a ticket now, go ahead and pack my bags, and be in America tomorrow. Traveling is not as hard as it used to be back in the day.
So is Loretta? I don't know anything about Loretta Lynn's.
It's a big amateur motocross race. I actually think that would be a great place to actually have a nationals. If there was ever a place where we wanted to get RC in front of other people that are similar mindsets of that, then that would be a great place. Well, John, you have a job. You take 2 weeks vacation in June that you're going to go to the nationals, and you wait till the day that the track's going to be won. You can drive anywhere in America. I have driven across America 7 times. I don't want to hear that excuse. That's just you want to make it convenient so you can go to a place. You're not thinking about all the other racers. That's what makes the nationals different. I'm gonna have to bring out my sheriff's hat here. I'm gonna have to bring it out.
I don't see the comments, so I'm like not sure.
So John is on about the nationals being at one place. That's just boring. That's just boring. Is the world's at one place every year? No. So the nationals need to be like that.
Yeah.
Where it's at your track, John. It's at your track. Where's your local track? That's where the nationals going to be. Tell your track to go bid on it, and we'll have it there, and they can have it there in 2024.
We can't guarantee that they're going to win.
Tracks have to bid on this.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, everything costs money. Everything costs money. Nobody said that RC is free. Nobody said that RC is necessary. It's a luxury. Everything costs money.
When we get TV money, then we can worry about all the stuff that everybody wants to do that costs money.
You know what I mean? We're talking. Let me tell you something. You guys you are so fortunate. You know where I have to go? You know what I have to do? I heard people complaining about driving.
You live on an island. You have to
if
fly
I want to go
everywhere.
race, if I want to go race tomorrow, I have to pay for a plane ticket and fly to America to race.
Wow.
So you guys all stop, and everything that I do in RC is more expensive. That's what makes the nationals great. And having it in one spot is going to just make it boring and give an advantage. Just like the Americans don't want to go to Europe because they say that the Europeans have an advantage at these permanent tracks. They will say the same exact freaking thing about a race being at that track every time. The point of the nationals is that it actually moves around. Make your plans that it's going to be. I'm all for it being on the same dates or the same around dates, right?
Yep.
I'm all for that. If we know that the Fuel Nationals will be the first weekend of June, take your time off of that. When you know, but they won't even know where the race is until the track bids for it.
Right.
Why should one track always get the love when you have nationals all around? Like that's the whole point of it being like that. Oh man. I'm sorry.
All right. They got you going. They sucked you in.
No, because that's just one person thinking how they want it for them. When they should be thinking how it is for everybody.
Comments. There's lots of other people on here.
PMB can't be random because it's in a fucking stadium. Unless you can pick the stadium up and move it around. No, but that's different. That's PMB. You have plenty of races where you can go there at one spot. What's the day for PMB? Do you know yet? I think it's out. But anyway, let's get off that. Let's get off that. Let's get on some more questions. All right, so this is something I wanted to ask you about. So can tracks become raw tracks? Does raw offer some sort of insurance for tracks, or how does that work?
Raw should be covering the track whenever they're holding an event. But I think what he's saying is if a track's just having a practice night, it's not covered. So I don't know if it is or not. I need to reach out to the insurance company because everything I was told about the insurance seems to not be accurate. So I can look into that and see what the insurance is really covering and make some kind of post so people know what's going on. Sorry, my cat is trying to end my stream. Sorry.
All right. So John's still going on. He's a little upset. Are meetings live streamed for members?
They are not. We had a vote on whether we were ready to live stream the meetings, and the committee decided that we were not ready yet. And to be honest, there's only about 4 people on the committee right now. So once we get positions back filled, I'll bring it up for a vote again and see. I know there are times where people are not saying things that are nice. And so as an organization, we might need a hot mic mute button or something like that. But I don't have a problem if the meetings are held live. I just didn't get enough votes last time.
All right. We have a question right here. If you're a raw member at a non-raw track, are you covered for accidental damage injury?
No, the track has to be a raw track as well.
Okay. Dustin Splin. Masters Art, it's the same date every year, renewed at the end of the last event. Last year is when it was happening again. I agree with rotating locations, but like Lance said, date is consistent. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah,
consistency is key.
Yep, I agree. I just need to bring it up at the meeting and say we need to lock in his weekends.
Pretty much, and then that's the best.
Part of the bid template is that the track is picking the date, which seems.
I don't understand that. It should be that date, and then you should be able to hold it on that date.
I think part of it is like Florida. You can't hold a race in Florida in June or July because it's going to rain every day or something.
Well, it's kind of like what the Nationals were in. When they were at Tim Lime's track last year, they had to have it in April or March because it was just too hot in June.
Yeah.
So
that would be the detractor from
Lance. We had our Nationals in June. It was hot, very hot. It was in Florida. It was very hot, very humid.
How hot was it?
Man, I know I went to the outhouse to drop a poop, and it was not great.
You lost more than the poop.
Dude, it was hot. It was hot. All right, so I constantly get this question. What people want to know, becoming a member of RAW, what does it do for them? What benefits do they get?
So right now, you can race in nationals, and you get insurance if your track is covered. But most tracks have their own insurance as well because they have a hobby store and other things. I don't have a good answer other than you'll be able to race your regionals and nationals. We're working with sponsors to have a package go out of here's your discount for A-Main or Serpent America or whatever. But we haven't found a way that it can't be shared with non-members. So it's an idea that we haven't fully sussed out.
Okay.
But the other thing you're doing is you're supporting the hobby, the rules, everything else that we're doing behind the scenes that isn't nationals.
This is a very good question. And I think Raw should be involved in this. Is Raw going to invest? How is Raw going to invest into bringing new drivers into the hobby, showcase events with like-minded people, i.e. full-scale car racing events, multi-track events, motocross events? This is something that I would like to see, like I talked about earlier. Actually, this was T-Bill's idea, and it goes back to John. John, you're a motocross guy. Having an event at the Loretta Lynn's amateur motocross race that he's talking about. Why? Because that's, I believe, if I'm right, I'm wrong, but I believe it's a week-long event. So it will fit right in with what we're doing anyway, with having a 3-day event or a 4-day event. But it gets RC in front of people. How can Raw do that? How can Raw Because I think Raw has to also, because Afra's doing it, right? Afra's over there. They're doing a lot of really great stuff. If, trying to grow RC and all that type of stuff. I think Raw has to have some sort of input into that as well with the manufacturers, all the time. Obviously, I've talked to different manufacturers. You have as well. What can Raw? I know right now you're just trying to get on your feet and try to do things, get things going. But
like I said, I want this eventually to be just as popular as NASCAR. So
okay,
actually more like F1. NASCAR's kind of oversaturated.
Okay,
but yeah, so we would need a promotion director, in my eyes, that can reach out to some of these events and ask how we can be involved and what it would cost, or if there's some mutual benefit to their spectators for us putting on a show, even if we had top 20 Nitro drivers go out to a motocross race and run part of the track that would make sense that they would be able to run on.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's a good idea. I don't know exactly how we get involved with those to get that out there, but I'm open to whatever, because it's kind of silly that people aren't seeing it as much as it should be.
Well, we're not. So I know we think we're doing a whole bunch of stuff, but we just ain't getting enough RC out there in the algorithm. John,
right.
I just wanted to answer your question. So Tebow had mentioned this on a podcast. He was like, the reason they would do it at Loretta Lynn's because they have a bunch of entries. There's a lot of people that are running this. Like I believe we're talking in an off-road sense. I believe when you drive motocross, coming over to off-road has been a very quick transition for many. I believe that off-road is probably one of the closest things that they can get to motocross. That's what I've heard from guys. Obviously not the same adrenaline rush as running on this, but you got lots of people that get injured. People just don't know what we do, right? But when they find out what we're doing, like, hey, this car jumps, if you hit the gas, it does this. If you do this, you do that. It has the same physics as a bike. You're just not on it. So I just thought that maybe he said having a race there would be great because it's a week-long event. You can get people there. You can have a big race there with maybe 300 people, 600 entries or whatever, running multiple classes. And he just always thought that would be a great place to put on an exhibition of RC, like do a full, because I think that's one of the things that like the Visions race is missing, having a lot of RC people there to make it look bigger than what it, make it look big. And he was just saying that he thought that would be a great place because everybody says, oh, let's put it at a motocross race, or let's put it at this, or let's put it at that. But he had a very good comment about that. That's why I brought that up. I don't know if it has to be that specific race. I'm just using that because that's the only amateur motocross race I know. Sorry, I'm not that motocross. What's the word I'm looking for?
You're not versed in motocross.
All right, let's go. Mike Kaz wants to know, how does Roy feel about the new ProMoto 1/5 scale? Is it one? It's 1/5 scale motorcycle classes or too soon?
The new Losi bikes?
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion on them. I haven't driven one yet. I'm not sure where they would fit. I guess we could run them with Nitro.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't react to that. I thought for sure you'd be like,
no. So here's my no, because I think that the Pro Moto bike is going to do something. Everybody's worried about racing them, right? I'm not worried about racing them. I'm worried about everybody that goes out, because millions of people are going to buy these, right? They're going to go out, they're going to buy these, they're going to say, hey, I want to go to an RC track to run these. I want to go to a track. Oh, do you know there's a tracker that RC track to race them? They're going to take them to the track. They're going to drive them. They're going to be like, okay, this is fun. But I like that e-buggy over there. Or I like that 10 scale car over there. That's where the real racing is. And I want to do that. What the Pro Moto bike is going to do is basically kind of what the Slash did and all that type of stuff. Obviously, as racers, I think we ruined the short course class by getting too much to manufacturers making too much money off it. And that ruined it. But when the Slash and monster trucks and all that stuff first came in, they did boost RC racing. I think that the ProMoto X or MX bike will do that. So the Hemiglass, he says, so without being negative, but somebody like me, I believe he's talking about what does he get from being a Raw member. Just a club racer, there's no benefit at all. Personally, for the average Joe racer, no merch, no physical card, decal, shirt, nothing for our $40. There is Oh, I forgot I was charging the battery here. I could have blown up my stadium.
Do not do that again. I see the point. I don't know if a sticker makes it worth the $40. Like, I don't know if it changes. I know a long time ago they used to send out stickers and the plastic card, but then that stopped happening because of personnel issues. And then it became, that's why I hate Roar. So to get rid of the whole a reason to hate Roar, we made it digital. Plus, then you don't have to worry about keeping it in your wallet and finding it. It's always there. Yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of giveaway we can think about doing to send out.
Maybe like a kit. I think like no, like a membership kit.
Oh,
like
here's
I
your
remember,
local tracks and
yeah. Like I would say, like if you become a member, it can be virtual. Like here you go. Hey, here's your this all comes down to we need regional reps, we need this, we need all of that stuff, right? Hey, here's your regional rep, here's your tracks around you, where are you from, blah blah blah. Here's your number, a virtual kit or a virtual ebook of some sort. Maybe listing the rules, right? Stuff like that, your benefits, what are your Roar affiliated tracks around that area, stuff like that. I think that would be something that people information, right? And that can be virtual, that can be digital, and that doesn't cost any mailing out whatsoever. So I think that would be something that you guys could look into. But if we need some people in there, right? I kind of
wanted to, at this point, to be able to list all the tracks in your area, period, and put a star next to the Roar ones, or say put bold, these are Roar tracks, here's some other tracks in your area, because I want to promote the whole sport. Like, it's not just about Roar for me, it's about all RC. Mm-hmm. So anything that promotes or helps people find things easier is what we should be doing as Roar, I feel.
Okay. Adam Ross. What's up, Adam Ross, up there in Canada? I was talking to one of your local track owners up there recently. How can Roar work with established races like RaceTime events and DNC, to name a few? The amount of races there would be a good bump in Roar memberships. I actually have an idea for this.
So we have talked and tested a thought with the manufacturers of having a championship series that would then leverage, if those races are willing, the established races to give points to then finish with the championship. But what's your idea?
Well, my idea, you can do a virtual series. If I was Raw, that's what I would do. I would use this. We did it on the NNRC. We used I think we took DNC, PMB, Silver State, and then the Nationals, and then we made a virtual series. I actually even got a big trophy made and gave it to Ryan Mayfield at LCRC. Well, I didn't give it to him. I took a picture with it and then took it back home. Big stupid trophy.
Whoa, you took it back home? What's the point of that?
It was big. It was like 4 feet big. It weighed about 20 pounds. Yeah, you did. Well, see, I had it right there in my pits, right? I'll send a picture. I wish I still had. I wish I did. But this is what I would do something like that. Then you can make a ranking, because it doesn't seem like those races have any real interest in making a series, right?
Actually, they did. I haven't talked to all of them. No.
Joey always says he's going to make a series, and now I haven't seen any points. I haven't seen nothing like that. But we know that PMB, DNC, Silver State, and the Nationals get all the best drivers, right? Now you can make a pro virtual series with that. You can use their intermediate. You can have like a East Coast, West Coast, maybe add one more East Coast race to that. Have an East Coast intermediate series champ, stuff like that series as well, sportsman, whatnot. But what I would really do, and this would cost Raw a little bit of money, but I would send Raw to these races. I would send 3 guys to be referees, because everybody's always asking about referees. Be referees, and then set up, then ask these races. You can either say, hey, charge $10 more, you'll have referees. That $10 goes to Roar to help pay for the RMT, or set up a booth there and do a membership push and probably say, hey, you can sign up here at PMB for $30, not $40. But you also offer service because you're there with 2 referees, and that's what people have been asking for referees to go there and do that race and call penalties and all that type of stuff for that race. That's what I would suggest to Raw. Give something to get back. That would be my idea.
Yeah, and I think that's why people have liked the Nationals so far, is that we have been calling penalties on pretty much anybody that does something that they shouldn't be.
Okay. Dany's dad. What's up, Dany's dad? Can kids that are racing become official Raw members? Is there a minimum age for membership?
There is not a minimum age for membership, and usually you do a family entry to make the kids members.
Okay, good stuff. If a driver is a Mike Kaz, if a driver is a Raw member and the pitman who is not racing gets hurt by another driver, gets hurt and is a non-Raw member, is the pitman covered for injury from another driver?
No, they would have to be a Raw member. Actually, when we do Nationals, the people in the pits all have to be Raw members.
Okay.
Which we probably didn't police very well, but we've got a solution for that coming too.
Connect with something like RC Garage showing Mark Van Norden says connect with something like RC Garage showing how you performed at Raw events. Well, that's possible.
I think RC Garage takes all races because I think I looked myself up and I was surprised at my stats.
All right.
But maybe they could just weed out the war races.
Okay. So I'm getting Lance's conversation confused with somebody else. Marshall 59 further add that Raw should be helping to promote and facilitate tracks in town, country, state parks. The vast majority of flying fields are in public parks. Why can't Raw do the same? Well, I would say that the flying side of RC is extremely much more bigger than what we do as well.
Well, I think we can do the same, but we need to have somebody that will manage that side of it. Because I would love, there's nothing more than I would love to be able to look up on the web what tracks are around me. I mean, I know because I surf Facebook, and that's, I think, how most people look, is they try and find tracks around them through Facebook or friends or whatever. But it would make much more sense for them to be able to go to the Roar website, especially as a Roar member, and see what tracks are around, whether they're Roar or not. I agree. We need to promote the sport and get more information out there for everybody.
Yeah. But I also, because my buddy used to be an AMA flyer, I know that because the flying side of things is huge, right? It's probably slowed down a lot from what it used to be. But I remember he was saying that if they also had a rule, like if there was a flying event in a certain radius of where that flying event, like you couldn't I don't know what the mile radius was, but basically like events couldn't overlap each other in a certain mile radius, right? Mm-hmm. So you might have, maybe a flying field had to be 250 or 300 miles away in order for it to have another event from that current area. So John Bolton says that's the same in AMA Pro Nationals and Supercross races. Mechanic has to be an AMA member. Charlie Mack, who I'm really recruiting to join Raw, because he wants to make Ruggy great again. I know guys who spend $2,000 a year for hunting memberships only not to see anything or miss all season, but complain about a Raw license fee. Yeah, man, it's $40, man. It's $40. Hey, you know what? I think if you complain about $40, you should hit a super chat right here and give us some money so we can help pay Fred there in the background and make these live shows even better. What's up, Wall Carpenter? How you doing? Let's see our offer. C-Mac, I'm gonna be honest. For the average racer in our area, Louisiana, Mississippi, I don't really see any motivation to want a Raw license. You are not alone. I get lots of people that are doing that. But you know what you can do is get involved and make that change. I used to piss and moan and bitch about Raw all the time, and people say, well, get involved. Well, I'm getting involved. I'm not out there doing what you guys are doing. I'm doing it more as a media outlet and trying to get people involved, right? It cannot happen without people taking that first step and getting involved, right? You are one man. You can't do it all. You're calling out for help. You've offered people to come up and join.
Yep. The
only way things can get better is if we get people in there that want to make it better, right? I get it. You have time, you have work, you have all that stuff too. So does this man too, right?
Yes.
So does this man, because he's not getting paid to do this.
Not a
right?
dime.
So I get what you're saying. If you see no need for raw in your area, that is actually the problem that's happened in RC. That's why we have people out there going to a Raw Nationals and getting upset when rules are applied. There are no rules, and like for me, like I go like
Zachary Galloway. No, it is never too late.
No,
you
it's
can
never too
sign
late.
up the first day of the race,
except for mini truggy and four-wheel drive short course track.
Yes, those two won't be raced, but you can run e-buggy, e-truggy, and old e-buggy, e-truggy, the over 40 classes or 45, whatever they put them.
D70 says, I just renewed my Raw license. I will say this.
Thank you, D70.
Not joining Raw does not help Raw either. It's always, what do you get, right? How about trying to help out, That's what your $40 does. Lefty, save it for the sheriff's hat. Save it for the sheriff's hat. Save it for the sheriff's hat.
So currently in Northeast Rep, just curious. I don't think we have a Region 1. We have Region 2, who is our Vice President, Garland. But I don't believe we have a Region 1. I'll have to look that up. I don't have the answer to that.
Bryce Holmland. I've gotten in so many conflicts with new racers coming to my local Raw track, bitching about $40 membership when he or she rolls up in 3K of race equipment. Shit is what? Dude, I see people complaining about paying $5 to Live RC where they can see their races and their results, like their races with their results if they had a big race and had coverage. $5. Yeah. But that same person will have everything in they will have this cup matching their paint scheme. You have money to match your cup right down to your glow igniter has your paint scheme on it. And guess what? When they switch chassis every year, they have to get all that stuff changed as well. They have $500 to spend money on that, right? Because sticker companies don't give no discounts. But when it comes to helping better art, it's just like the same guy who was complaining about the cost of the pitting at the ENATs. Well, the on-road nationals, I've been doing on-road nationals for 20 years, and I only paid $20 to do this. Well, you should be ashamed of yourself because you ain't helping that track make any money.
True. Actually, they didn't even charge the $20 at the paved nats, even though they advertised they were going to charge for pit spaces. They ended up not doing it. So,
yeah, but
for the paved nats,
that man had to rent a tent, right? He had to rent tables and chairs.
Yeah,
and all
he
that
still
stuff.
had the same cost. Yep.
That's
even
what people don't understand.
Because more people showed up.
That's why we can't have nice things in RC. That's why we ain't gonna have no call-ins on this show because we ain't getting no super chats. I'm gonna keep on you guys about them super chats. Let's see. Hold on, Charlie. Charlie Mack had one. Okay, the issue is Charlie Mack says CL. The issue is before you or I started, the institution should have been built up. But now everyone is saying, why do this under an institution? Exactly. When the institution set the standard for racing. That's the problem, I think, Charlie Mack, is that too many people have come into RC without that institution's influence, right? There's people that, like, I've seen people come in and be like, hey man, I went to a nationals and they wouldn't let me run my battery pack, right? Well, is your battery pack raw approved? No. Well, that's a rule. It has to be raw approved in order for you to run it. So maybe before you ran the nationals, you should read the rules, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to get rid of the silly stuff like headlights, taillights. Like, those will be suggested, but they're not going to be disqualifications. And if you come up a little bit over voltage, we're not kicking you out. Like, we're trying to get back to we want everybody to get on the track and race kind of deal.
Martin Pillmeyer, I don't know how to say your name. Pillmeyer. How did the buggy body sneak through raw approval? It's not against the spirit of the class. It is not against the spirit of the class.
Yeah. So from what I understand about the buggy body, the person that has been fired, the first person to be fired from Roar, let that go. And because he let it go at the Nationals, it continued to develop. We've talked to the manufacturers and they want to keep it in a box. But once you make a car that handles or make a car handle, it's hard to say, okay, now we want it to drive like shit without killing a class. Hence, we got rid of the GBS2 rules because no manufacturer has made a body for the touring cars that fits that rule, and everybody assumes it's going to handle like crap, and we're not trying to kill racing.
Okay. Thank you, Bryce, for the super chat. I appreciate it. I was so excited about that I had to hit my asthma pump. Spark. This is I see he's been commenting about this. This is Wes who I was talking to. He says, "Will Canada be broken up into a few regions? Canada is too big for one. So is Canada just all one region?"
Canada is all one region under Paul Parks, and they do have a region director who is involved, so that is good. But I don't know why it's not broken up, but maybe it should be. I can talk to Paul and see how often he gets from coast to coast. It's because the length of the United States. So
yeah, because I mean, maybe so my argument would be maybe the numbers aren't like America in the amount of racers, but I know there's pockets and they're spread out so far. Like I know the guys in Quebec, they're a whole different segment. Then you have, I believe, where West is from, which is like Ontario and that area. That's another pocket of guys. Then I believe you have racers over in like Alberta and that area as well. And then, of course, the next big pocket after that is British Columbia and that area over there. The problem is they may not have many big numbers, but they're spread out so far. So I would agree that each one of those regions should be split up and they should have a rep, because I think that Canada is, I mean, I caught a bus from High Level to Toronto and it took 3 days, right? So not only is Canada wide, it's north and south high. Even though I don't think much RC racing goes up there, up in the Northern Territories. Now, up in Alaska, though, they have races up in Alaska.
Do they really?
Oh yeah, one of them is in there. Donald Tolbert from Alaska. So he's. We had a guy from Alaska named Dennis. He was in the pits at DNC. So, thank you, Bryce. I appreciate that. Where's Bryce from?
Super chat.
Hey, man. There's Donald. He's in there right now. Okay. See how Offord says, I would gladly pay for a license, but there are no regionals that I've seen on her. So far, many of us, you can go to the nationals isn't enough. All right, so because
what region are you in?
Talking about regionals. He's in the Mississippi, Louisiana region.
So that's part of Georgia region, right?
Charlie Mack, you are my honorary regional Raw member rep in that area. What membership? What Raw region are you in? Actually, there's a map on Raw Racing that has all of this stuff as well. I don't have nothing memorized. So, I think
because I think Sean Harding's in that area or is the regional director, and I could have swore there are regionals.
He just had a regional. Yeah, I think he just had a regionals, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that the regionals can be combined with a local race.
Oh yeah,
at some point.
Yeah, there's a regional up in Region 2 for on-road because that's what I do. This coming weekend at John's Mobile. It's a mobile track. He sets it in a parking lot of a mall, and everybody shows up and races.
So CL's still going on. He says, that's what I've been saying. It's non-existent. Offer an actual plan for more Raw racing throughout the year where all racing we do in the year matters, and you'll have my attention. Well, maybe you should join Raw, and then you should become more involved and become a regional rep and get involved, and then that can change. But complaining about it, you do nothing. You're just part of the problem.
We want people to participate and join. We're not trying to obscure you.
No, I do not speak for Raw. I'm just saying it's like RC racers always want something before they pay for something, right?
Yeah.
Or they want a discount. Do you like, hey man?
Some of them have paid for Raw for a very long time and got nothing. So I totally understand that frustration.
Okay, so Region 2 is okay. That's up in Tilt Yard, up in Virginia. Okay, that's where Brian's from. He's up there in that area. Charlie Mack, who is your regional rep for? Where is CL from? He's from your area, right? Mississippi, Louisiana. So who's your?
Giangelo. Jody's good. I can reach out to him and see when the region. He's usually good with holding regional, so I'm surprised to hear that he hasn't posted one. But I can reach out to him.
So CL, there's also lots of regions that don't have reps. So, amen.
Okay, that's cool. We can see what we can do.
Okay, hold on. I know everybody wants Lance to get involved. I know you want to get Lance involved too. Thank you, Mark Van Norden. Tramal Laboud should drive intermediate in 2024. I have no idea who that is, but thank you for the 1999 super chat. That's going to go towards us having phone calls at some point.
Awesome.
Jason, I'm not going to have you on her. We're going to have Clayton on her for about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to let him go. So if you guys have any questions, let him go, and then we'll get into some proper shite talking after that.
And if you guys want me back on, just let Lefty know or find your local podcast guy and tell him to hit me up. I'm all about reaching out and getting more ideas and making this thing better.
Okay. And if you want to get involved, get involved. Hi, Lefty.
President at roarracing.com. Just email me.
Jason Venezia. Hi, Lefty. Hi, and Clayton. I've been racing since the mid-90s and had the opportunity to run my first Raw Nats at Beachline earlier this year. It was a great event and ran smooth. Yeah, it was good to see you there. I enjoyed that. I always like going to Beachline. It's I like carpet racing. I'm all about carpet racing.
Yeah, it was nice to have you take over interviews for a while, so I didn't have to do everything.
I
was racing that one too.
Oh, so Charlie Mack says Jody D'Angelo has been in the hospital. He has a long road to recovery by getting stronger each day. We wish you to get better, Jody D'Angelo. I want you to have a speedy recovery. And CL,
I'm really going to have to reach out to him.
And CL, I am not picking on you. I am not picking on you. I'm just saying, be a part of the solution. Don't be a part of the problem. If Jody's sick and he can't do this no more, somebody should step up in that region and take over that position. And John Bolton, he says, I spout off, but I put up cash. That's you. You know what? That's right. You can spout off as much as you want because you are a member. You are part of the solution. I agree with you there. D70 says our membership. No, they are not coming back.
No, plastic cards are kind of the 70s thing. So they're all going to be digital from here. So you have it on your phone. You'll have it with you your whole life.
Okay. Bryce Holmlund. Dude, you must be of like Viking background or something like that. What has been the most difficult thing about running Raw besides the haters?
Yeah, so I was a Marine for 22 years. The haters don't really bug me. The most difficult thing is trying to get people to do their job or follow through with getting things done because I'm more of a set it and forget it kind of person. So if I ask you to do something, I kind of expect it just to get done. And most times that's not happening. So that's why people are getting fired and we're finding people that will do the work. Because it's hard to manage every aspect of RC across all the different disciplines, on-road, off-road, paved, carpet, dirt, and still clean up the sport and get things back to where they should be.
Okay, so he's part Swedish. I figured you was from one of them Viking reindeer herding, whale-eating countries.
Whale is really strange. It looks like a steak, but it tastes like fish. I had it when I was in Iceland. It was so crazy.
I have not eaten whale or reindeer balls. So that's Finland, though. All right. I did have okay. So my Sasquatch has a question. Mike Bartkus. What caused the change in this year's ENETs to 45 Masters class rather than a 40 plus in years past?
So, as far as I know, exhibition classes are more of the track thing. So, we went off of what the track suggested. To me, Masters class should probably be like 65, 70-year-olds, but I don't have a good thing. Because our exhibition, we kind of go with what the track says.
Mm-hmm. All right. I actually had a question from Connie at House of RC. And he went for numbers.
Yes, he's like, when are we going to talk again?
Yes. So he goes, I have a question I would like for you. And I want you guys to get involved in this too in the chat. He wants to know, he wants us to try and estimate the number of racers in all classes in USA. And then he says he wants to then compare that to the number of licensed raw drivers and what the gap is and how we can bring more drivers to, well, basically the same thing we've been saying. I would like to, you know what we need to do? We need to do a census.
I believe Live RC would have the numbers of people in the States. My guess is it's probably 10 grand or 10,000. And we probably have 2,500 members, maybe.
That's all classes, right?
All classes.
Okay. Yeah.
But part of our problem is too that Oval left Roar and kind of went on their own, and we've done nothing to try and get them back. And that's a lot of people. There's probably for every on-road and off-road track in the area, there's 5 oval tracks. It's crazy in the States.
Okay. Well, hey, you know what, Charlie Mack? Let's get on that live time stat and let's find that. I don't have BJ, my statistician, in her today. So, yeah, let's find out how many.
It is. They just won't know how many members we have. And okay. I don't know the exact number right now either. I've been bugging my webmaster to get it for me.
How many do you think do you think we have 10,000 overall races in America? All classes?
Oh, I would say yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
How about in the chat? How many? Let's put some numbers out there. Let's see who gets it right. While Charlie Mack looks out and finds the actual the actual number, right, Charlie Mack? That's what you're going to be doing for me in the background. Mark Calandra, Lefty, look at my post. I can't look at it right now. I'm actually in the middle of doing this live. I will look at it in a bit. Good luck at the ENATs. Also, I want to say shout out to everybody that's going out to Barnstormers this weekend. Good luck at the new Big Apple Nitro Challenge as well. That looks like it's going to be a great race. And then, of course, we have in the Europe side of things, we have the 110 scale European Championships coming up next week. That coverage starts for RC Racing TV on Tuesday. So
awesome.
The Europeans actually do. So they do the I don't know if they do it this year, but they do 2-wheel drive first because they only do 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. So they do 2-wheel drive first, then they do a slight track change, then do 4-wheel drive afterwards. So you have a 2-wheel drive champion by Wednesday, and then Saturday you'll have a 4-wheel drive champion.
I think that's how Worlds are going to go in September. Yeah, I think it's going to go 2-wheel drive, then 4-wheel drive.
Lan says last week 11,500, so not too far off. Dan Jones says, so no offense, but if you are saying there are regional races, why aren't they on the website?
Because regional directors didn't tell us that they were having a race, mostly. A lot of it's on our own fault because we need to be reaching out and having monthly meetings with the regional directors, but because we're short on staff, we don't have a person to do that yet.
Okay. Lance says, and this was tracks that use live time scoring that was also connected to the internet to upload results. So there possibly could be more.
Yeah,
than that.
There probably are more.
So let's give a estimate of 15,000. I would say.
Yeah, that's fair. And it wouldn't surprise me if we have 9% of drivers. I'd say 9% of drivers send the United States are not. Oh, in the United States or not? That's probably true. I think he's trying to say, I'd say 90% of the drivers in the United States. I think that took the S off of drivers and put a word there. So
okay, yeah, we'd have to be a little bit more clear with that, please, Ken. Walt Carpenter says, go ahead. There are.
Wow.
I got to get used to letting Fred do this. Will Raw have tracks like Euros with grass, carpet, and concrete? I think that will help prep for the Worlds. That's up to the track. That'd be cool, though.
Oh, is that what the Brazil track will be like?
No, it's going to be all dirt. They'll probably have some carpet on the jumps because I know the track builder. That's his signature.
Oh, cool.
That's up to the track. There are more, but I would agree around. That's still not a lot, That's still not a lot. RC racing. That is so small, right? There's more people that I don't know.
Should be more like 350,000. Like,
there's more people
if there's
that collect
350 million people in the States, there should be at least 350,000 that are RC racers.
Unfortunately, that would be great. There's probably more people that collect Pez collectors than there are
Right.
RC racers.
That's true.
Lance says we did multi-surface at our fuel nets in 2018, including mud, because it rained. Man, them guys bust their asses at that race. All right. A couple more questions, guys, here, if you have some more for Clayton. And then we'll get on and we'll do some Q&A with me. We'll talk about some stuff that's going on. And have some fun here. So Nancy Fan wants to know, just wondering why the Raw Nationals page doesn't have full results listed since 2019. Lack of staff.
Well, lack of website development, maybe. I don't know, but that's something we can work on because it's all on the Live RC War thread, so it wouldn't be hard to get those up, and I do apologize.
Okay. Let's grow RC. I agree. That should be everybody's mission. We all are ambassadors in RC. I agree. If you see our offer, there are way more RC enthusiasts that have no idea racing exists. I 100% agree with you. That's why I am all about what Mark Santamaria is doing, and that's why I always want to. We should be focusing on those racers, right? Because they have some RC experience. We should be allowing these Typhons, these Armors, all this stuff. We should figure out a way to get these racers to the track. I actually at the North Georgia Shooter, I saw Typhons. These are the RTR, Losi, ready to race ones. My buddy ran an Armor, so they're getting there. Okay.
Yeah, our hobby town here in my area has a class for those Armas to run whenever we do racing in the area.
Okay. Lance McDonald, what is the main thing holding Raw back?
Personnel, money.
There we go. Gregory Tennis. How come the Raw Nationals for 1/8 scale are in August when half the country is not racing 10 scale at that time? Wouldn't it make more sense to do it in April when the whole country is concluding their indoor season?
The dirt people aren't racing in August?
They did have a carpet championships in April. They had a carpet Raw. They had a Raw indoor carpet championships in April.
Oh, maybe because it's indoor. I don't know how many indoor dirt tracks there are, so I don't know what that season is. Sorry.
Okay. Charlie Mack, he says, El Presidente, let's say in 2024, all racers off-road, on-road, drag, oval, and MX signed up for Raw. After popping champagne, what are the first 5 tasks to be done?
Wow. I haven't thought about if we had money. So I would say the first task would be to have a media team. That was our media team, advertising, all racing everywhere. I'm sure PNB and DNC do well with their advertising, but having the regional reps reach out, getting all that stuff publicized, having all the tracks in the area know to reach out to let us know what races they're having. Because right now, I think that's a big drawback right now is that we don't have one place for somebody to go and find all the races that are happening, all the races around them. Like it's just hit and miss Facebook posts and stuff. There's no central place for everybody to go and find things. And it's not advertised. If we had a media team showing, like when Dany goes around or the mod guy goes around and they do a great job broadcasting the races and making recap videos and then reposting that, I think that stuff's huge. One up when Randy Castor went to the carpet race in March, he's still reposting videos and getting thousands of hits on that stuff.
Okay. And I have to agree with Lance. I feel it's lack of funding that limits the ability to add personnel that really needs to be compensated.
Yes,
I would agree.
I would agree. I've had a lot of people say that they would love to help, but they can't do it for free. And I get that, especially where the economy is now.
And see our offer. It's saying make Raw great again only works for so long. I'll get a license right now if some realistic girls are put on. Well, you're part of the problem. I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you off, CL. I'm not going to let you off. We're just talking about funding and needing funding and all that type of stuff, right? And then, you don't want to join, but you want realistic goals. You're not part of the solution.
What would you think a realistic goal is?
All right, there you go. There's a good question for you, CL. What is a realistic goal for you to join Raw? And then come back to me when I finish with Kemo's question. Being from Bermuda, if we wanted to race the nationals, can we as Bermudians attempt it? I believe Bermudians have raced nationals before.
But they're not a U.S. territory, right?
No, but you use a U.S. address.
Right. That is very
use a U.S.
true.
address.
I don't even know what block they would be. I wouldn't have a problem with they coming.
They belong to Farmar block, or actually, Bermuda might actually go on the Afro because it's a British territory.
Oh yeah.
So, but I know Bermudians have race nationals, so that's fine.
You can use my address, Chemo.
Yeah, come on, CL. Give me a what would be a realistic goal for you? All right. So Mike Kick says televised nationals and worlds instead of a visions race.
Yes, that would be awesome.
That would be expensive too. You have
it
to know
would
the
be
right person.
But that would be awesome. That's my goal, is to have the TV market come to us.
So CL says you want investors, you need a decent pitch, right? What is a realistic goal for you? Come on. Don't answer a question with a question. Give us an example. What do we need to get your $40? What does Raw need to do to get your 40 shekels, man? Come on. Probably spend more than that just to get to the track.
Yeah.
How about helping people? How about helping make it better? And that is exactly the issue with RC racing. RC races are the biggest worst enemy. I want a governing body, but I don't want to pay for it. Hey, this is Lefty off the record. Mark Van Norden, Lefty. We've had Clayton on at least 3 times this year, I think. So he's been on a few times. So I think every quarter for a catch up is good.
Yeah, I would agree.
Every quarter. Brandon K. Powell, RC signups seem to head that direction at one time, trying to assist centralized races. Yes, I think that needs be a bit updated, though. It is kind of...
It's very
clunky.
80s, yeah.
It's very
just
clunky.
Like text.
I don't know why Nick Salto says, I don't know why people classify 10 scale as seasonal and it's mainly the races. Just race year long. And if 8 scale season only works during the summer race, that additionally to 110 scale. No need to quit 1/10 in the summer, then complain how much you're off pace in the winter.
Okay. That's kind of my mentality. If you want to be better, drive better. Don't suck.
So Dan Jones says, Lefty says, that's not fair. If you need money, tell us what's the first thing you want to do with it. So everybody wants a realistic goal. What would be something?
Goal would be to have enough money to have our media team to be able to be at these races instead of Live RC sending, the 2 people they send, but be able to go not only to our races, but to all the rest of the races around the region. So we do driver interviews, we get the sponsor shout outs, we do all this stuff to spread this around the country.
Get pictures, go around, do pit walks, all that type of stuff. All right, There's a goal. See how? There you go. There's one goal, because that costs money, right? That costs money.
And I don't have ghosts. It's a cat moving the pillows in the background.
Gorilla Speed, does the other international sanctioning bodies have paid people? I believe each sanctioned body has somebody that's paid. I don't think Afra is. I think Afra's in the same boat. They're not paying everybody.
Yeah, I don't know how they work, but I know over in Europe, the countries actually give money that helps support the stuff over there. So it would be like the government giving us money, which we don't get.
So Dan Jones says, how many members do you need to start that?
So let's say to do a race probably 4,000. So 100.
All right. CL, I gave you a reason, buddy. How bad do you want my footy? I can race about. That's the way the things are currently. You are right. You are absolutely right on that. Andrew Bishop, we did go over why the decision because of the low entry count. So he wants to know wondering why the decision to remove the classes at the 8 scale ENATs given low entry count already. Yeah, pretty much because of the low entry count. You can reiterate that real quick, Clayton, because I don't believe he wasn't on her.
So we had 3 people in one class, and there were 5 registered, but it was getting ready to drop to 4 in the other class. And so the decision was made without at least 8 people in that class that we would cut them out before people showed up and packed up and brought stuff that they didn't need.
Okay. So Lance says he disagrees. Media is not Raw's number one pressing issue. This is something I've heard Lance say. What would you say would have to happen, Lance? I can't remember what you said, but I think that so just for people to clarify is what he wants, what Clayton wants is so see how the quality of the event, the coverage was at the Fuel Nationals? It was good, right? Because they had the people there, they had, all that type of stuff there. He wants that for every national.
Right. And we've had Live RC step up their game, but we didn't have Dany or Keenan. Like they showed up to some of the races, but they weren't like paid to come. So like to have the money to be able to get all this production done right. So, or done at all, instead of people take a picture with a cell phone and try and post stuff. So I'm open to whatever Lance has as an idea that is the best thing too. So,
okay. Why don't all the tracks and races require Raw membership? Wouldn't that help increase membership and affect increasing Raw revenue? Yeah,
that's
ideally,
exactly right. If all tracks were Raw members and they required all their people to be Raw members, there would be no problems getting paid people on the staff and having enough money to have free races and all kinds of other stuff.
Okay. All right, Marshawn, we're gonna. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. I've kept you on for 2 hours, President. To get investors, go after athletes and entertainers who have RCs. Don't remember who right now, but I've seen RCs at Major League Barks running in the outfield. Maybe it was Mike Trout. So we do actually have an athlete. Ben Wallace.
Yep,
is a active on-road racer. I've tried to get him on this podcast for many years. I almost got him on there. I'll be honest with you. These guys probably just want to race and not be bothered. But I will say that Ben Wallace has been probably the most active big name that we've had.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's I don't know how involved. I know at one point he was really, really really highly involved in the on-road scene. I still think he races, but probably not as involved in that. So, hey man, I am all about any opportunity to get to people. So
we have been fixing the rules. Organization. Yeah, I'm still trying to find people for that. Compensation to those doing hard tidbit work. Yes, I would agree. But I feel like we're starting to fix that stuff.
Okay. So Charlie Mack, this is what CL and Charlie Mack want about. Everything starts at home. First, we need to get our regional tracks and racers organized on our own to keep racers racing and build up these races at home so that every regional race feels like a DNC and PNB. Well, that starts with your regional rep and volunteers.
That talk starts with a lot more people. Like we just don't have the people. I would agree. That would be great. But I don't have a way, like a grassroots thing, to just get somebody in every city to want to step up and then have a regional director that talks to all the people in those cities that are hosting these races. And like, it requires a lot more people. And right now, most people to do anything want to make money.
And Charlie Mack, I've been on you to join Raw for months now. On you.
I'm going to meet him one day.
Yes, we also have Reggie Tong as well, but I just think Ben Wallace is a little bit more of a high-profile athlete than Reggie. Reggie was playing football then back in the day when I used to go races with Paul Coleman and all that stuff. Still an avid off-road racer, but Ben Wallace is a basketball world champion. I believe an NBA final champion. But yeah, I've tried to get Reggie on her too on the podcast. He's very shy. A lot of these guys, what I've learned is that they do this as their pastime, right?
Yeah.
And they don't want to be bothered. Like, what's
They've
that?
been in the limelight. They don't need any more.
Yeah, what's that guy? Dax Shepard. Like, everybody was freaking out about him, and when he's into RC. It's just very difficult to and look, man, let me tell you something. They probably
Kyle
look at
Busch
RC.
is into RC too.
Who?
Kyle Busch, NASCAR driver.
Yeah, I raced against him. They probably look at RC and say, I'm not losing money on that. I'm not losing money on that. All right, we'll take a few more questions and then we'll go. Okay, Andrew Bishop says, just from the outside looking in, I think one thing that is tough is the current pricing strategy of Raw. We had up to 200 plus entrants at a previous race about a month ago at the same facility. Lots of locals seem to be pushed away by the cost being upwards of $350 for one class with pit space, practice, possibly lower the cost. So let me tell you something. We had this rant, right? And I'm going to say it again. Raw does not control the cost of the pit space. That is by the track. Sorry, I'm trying to hide this comment. That is by the track, right? That's how the track makes money. The average cost of the entry fee of a big race now in RC is $100. You go to DNC, it's $100. You go to PMB and these races, it's $100.
I thought some of them were more than $100.
And the race, the track makes money off selling pit space and all that stuff.
Yep.
So you want Raw to make money, but you want them to charge less, right? And I don't know how you're going to do that. Like, let me tell you something. If that's why I said the Nationals maybe not for everybody. If $100 for a pit space where you don't have to bring anything for that track is your main concern, then maybe you shouldn't be going. I'm just saying. I don't. I get it, but that's a drop in the bucket. Like I see people go to PMB and these races and race 5 classes. That's $500 just in entry fees right there. So Lance McDonald, Raw and Raw affiliated manufacturers need a uniform sponsor. Yes, this is actually a very good idea.
I don't
Lance
understand
is talking. So so Lance is talking about Raw. Now, just so our listeners would know, Raw and Raw affiliated manufacturers need a uniform sponsor application that must be downloaded from a Raw website and accessible to only Raw members. So basically what it's saying, if you want to get sponsored, you have to be a Raw member. You go in, you and basically all manufacturers affiliated with Raw, you have to be a Raw member. And this will also be Raw would be you would have a generic sponsorship form that you fill out, right? And he was telling me about it's a really great idea because we've always been talking about how to get more control of the current sponsorship game, right? Mm-hmm. And he believes Raw should be involved in that. I think he can iterate a little bit more with that comment, but he's told me plenty of times, and I agree. No Raw membership, no RC sponsorship.
Mm. Right now, for the big drivers, the sponsors pay their membership stuff anyways.
So is Raw a nonprofit? Marshawn wants to know, is a
tax
reduction. Okay, There we go. All right, Walt Carpenter, I'm going to hit on this because I just had a LiPo fire. Check out my Facebook. I was just charging a LiPo that could have probably had a LiPo fire.
I saw that.
While I was doing this. I think manufacturers should give LiPo bags with their batteries. Or maybe you should buy LiPo bags.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I go through so many batteries, I would have so many bags. I don't know how expensive they are to a manufacturer, but
or you make a which I'm gonna make a battery holding whatever the storage compartment out of ammo cans and stuff like that.
Mm.
All right, CL, let's get one more point because we ain't got your $40 yet. That brings CL Offroad. That brings another point. All these different manufacturers, promoters, tracks, regional directors, all typically working against each other. Why can't the industry work with each other? You know what? That is the first comment. I agree with you 100% on CL Offroad. 110%.
I think some of them work together, but most of them are only worried about their self-interest.
I'll tell you why. Because there's too worried about trying to pick up one or two guys off that are skipping off sponsorships at a big race. That's why. That's why if you put some rules and regulations to sponsorship, be a raw member, have a generic application that you to fill out. People, but like make some rule. If you don't see out your contract, then you get some sort of punishment. You get blacklisted and don't be able to get a sponsorship for the next couple of races or couple of months or whatever. So I'm just saying. All right, so this gentleman, Andrew Bishop, is talking about Rumble Room. We had 204 entries, and we're now not clearing 100 at the same facility. Even with more pro drivers, others traveling even farther, if we could pull the same crowd, we already went over that because it's e-nationals.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just an electric race or if that was a nitro and electric race.
Yeah, because it's just e-nationals, and for e-buggy, for the e-nats to be great, it's going to need nitro racers to join it. That's why we if you kind of missed the beginning of this, Andrew, he was talking about my thing is that the ENATS always suffers with entries, right? It's not just to room, whatever. Look, $100 for pit space is not why people are going. The reason why the E-Nationals isn't getting the entries that they want is because no nitro guys are going. So Rum and Rum have both nitro and E classes, so it's different. That's why the E nationals just need to be. There just needs to be a 1/8 scale nationals, in my opinion.
Yeah. What is the annual fee for a track to maintain Roar membership? I believe it's $100. It might be $200. I would have to look it up. I know they changed it right before I became president, so I don't know what got changed to.
Okay. All right, so we're going to take a few more questions for Clayton, so he could go, and then we're going to go into some hardcore. So Charlie Mack says, "Hey, Alprez, iPhone, Illuminati style. This have lifetime kill all transponders, and to fix it, you have to use your raw number as a transponder number."
Yeah, except the raw numbers are kind of going by the wayside. You're either a member or you're not.
All right. So do we have any more questions? We're going to take one or two more questions, and then we're going to let President Mr. Clayton go. It's been a great discussion with you. Thank you, everybody, for all the questions. It's been good. It's been fun. And, yeah, just if you have any more, two more, and then we're going to go. And then I'm going to let him go, and then you're going to have me, and I'm putting on my sheriff's hat.
I'm going to watch from the
all right,
afar.
Rick Hayes, thank you, Mr. Hayes. Does Raw actively? Thank you for the super chat as well. Does Raw actively attempt to get donations from corporations, even non-RC affiliated corporation? Is there a way to give a tax-deductible donation to Raw if companies are interested? That's actually a very good question.
That's a very good question. I know we have not reached out. I've thought about reaching out to Monster, Red Bull, any of those racing sponsors, but I have not had time to look into what that would take. As for the nonprofit donation, I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to find that. I'll have to find it and get back to you. Don't know.
That's a good question, Rick. Very good. Because JQ's talked about that a lot. As a nonprofit organization, we should be reaching out to these big companies. The federation should be reaching out because they have the numbers, right? They have the
right.
They have the numbers. You have the clout in a way. You know, you're official. That
right.
I'm like, you know, and I agree with you, Lance McDonald. 400 entries, 5 days, 4 national titles on the line. I think that's honestly the only way we should have a 1/8 scale nationals because the ENATs just ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry to all. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry because the e-buggy guys are always talking about how e-buggy is the future and this, and I love e-buggy, but Nitro guys show up, and it comes back. Nitro guys are hardcore racers. E-buggy only guys are more hobbyists. That's gonna piss people off. It did already, but it's truth be told. All right, one more question from Andrew Bishop, and then we're gonna. Well, actually, we have two more questions. Have Raw plus tracks possibly tried another method to split profits? I see a lot of frustration between track owners and large sponsors, since the sponsors such as a Raw make a lot of money while the tracks are left with not much left over after a big race. So I would.
Yeah, that's a pretty big misnomer, actually, because Raw is not making a lot of money. They spend a lot of money by bringing in the talent to host a race, to race direct, to cut the referees to call the penalties, the tech guys to do all the stuff, and buying all the trophies, the cups. The cups are like $200 a piece. So like the trophies aren't cheap. We spend probably $3,500 a race on trophies. So that if we did a profit split, I actually talked to the Miami track about hosting nationals. And when we looked at the profit split, when you paid for everything, there was nothing left. They would have just lost money. And so that didn't work out with them. But like the tracks are guaranteed money, even though the money that was taken in was like for this New York race. If we don't reach about 125 to 150 entries, then Roar just loses money. So the track still makes money, but Roar loses money.
Well, I don't think the ENATS is going to make them any money. That's unfortunate.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So because so if we have 78 entries right now, we probably brought in $6,800. The trophies are probably going to be at least $1,800, even though it's only 4 classes. And then we have live RC costs, which are, a few $1,000s. You have the 3 guys from RMT that are going to go up there. That's another few $1,000s. So we're already in the hole before we even go.
Even Calandra on his side, he's got to go get sponsors. He's got to put time in, pay people to be there. And then he's got people complaining about paying $100 for pit spots.
Yeah, if they make it over 125, I believe they make $2,500, which isn't a lot. So,
okay. What's up, Buggy Brent? Small club racetracks need to support Raw. If their races are Raw members, Raw can choose one track in that region and crown that track as king and allow them to host a regional race, which those top racers get to go to a nationals. Tracks will naturally compete to get a chance to host. In return, that track and racers get spotlighted media from Raw. At the end of the day, it's bragging rights. That's a good idea. That's actually a very good idea. Very good idea. Charlie Mack, thank you for the super chat. And he wants to know, is the position of director of Bruggy Research and Development still available? He is an avid Bruggy enthusiast. Lance McDonald says, I don't believe it's a tax deduction, as Raw is not a charitable organization. They are just non-profit.
That's probably very true.
So this is a very good idea, and I don't think it has to come from Raw. It has to come from EFRA. They have, no offense, they have better referees. They have guys that are really good at this. I think that.
Hey, wait a second. I was refereeing.
No, you ain't Stetson. See, a lot of people think that referee is just about calling penalties. The referee is actually the guy that's managing the race.
Yeah.
So
I was race directing and refereeing.
Well, yeah, you gotta be. So I think that Mark Stetson, he's one of the best referees I've seen at a race. Watching him at the Worlds. I've said this before. I think that there should be a referee program. Every sport has it. Like there's people that go through courses to do to become a soccer referee.
Oh, right.
Stuff like that. I think that there should be people that are interested in being referees. There should be a standard. You should train people. They would have to pay for this course. No, you pay for the course. You do the course, and then you if you want to be a referee, you have that standard, and then you get compensated to be a referee at a track or an event. You get compensated, and you have to have that have to have that certificate saying that you went through that course. But I honestly believe that has to come from over in Europe, because they have had way more practice at doing that. That's my thoughts on that. Lance says all the trophies need to stop. And quick in VA, I think Lefty needs to get some track owners on the live or podcast to discuss how a track makes money. I've had track owners on her. It's very hard for a track to make money, especially when there's lots of tracks around there. as well. I think Lance McDonald would be a good person to talk about that. He's a very good race promoter, and all his races get sold out at different tracks in Florida. So there we go. We've had Mark Calandro on as well. He's up there in Rome. It's not from the ENATs. I tell you that. I'm sorry. E-Buggy guys ain't showing up. Larry, it's LW4. I should be at PNB. All right, guys. So I don't think we have any more questions for Clayton. Let's see. Ken Calhoun. If you're running an event, you shouldn't be allowed to race, but you give the event your full attention. Yeah,
you
I don't know
allowed
how
to race. If you're running an event, you are allowed to race.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how people can race and run an event anyway. No,
not effectively.
It's crazy.
The races that I ran, I wasn't running them. I was just racing them. I may have got a question here or there because everybody asked the president questions, but I wasn't running the events.
Okay. All right. Well, I would say this to everybody. If you are keen on going to the ENATs, it's still time to sign up. You can sign up late. Unfortunately, there's no mini truggy and four-wheel drive short course truck. So if you want the ENATs to be good and you want support and you want that track to make some money off it, I would suggest signing up now. I mean, you're still going to pay a late fee. Go up there, run it. They still need the interest. Yep.
And it's a great place.
So I know Andrew says, forgive my bias on pricing. I hear a lot from local crowd where we pull upwards to 130 entries at trophy races. I'm assuming that he's up in this area where Rome is. But I've talked to a lot and say they were pushed away by the cost to attend. Extremely excited. You know what, man? You're going to a Raw Nationals. You're not going to a club race. It is a difference, right? Yep. I believe that
everybody that's going there wants to win. It's not going to be your typical local crowd. It's going to be people from out of town that are all good. Exactly. They all want to win.
Exactly. Okay, so he says he's from RC Madness. So that's
not too far. 2 hours away.
Is that up in Connecticut?
I think so.
Yes, right. So I understand that, perfectly understand that people don't want to look to go to races like this. It costs money. Just know that $100 for the pit spot, and you can pit for free if you bring your own stuff, right? You can pit for free. That money is how that track is going to make money. That's right. It's in Connecticut, Enfield CT. So that is how that track is making money. That track is making money from the pit spots.
Yep.
Because it ain't from the entrance. So I agree with you, Andrew, and I've heard a lot of people complain about that. But think of the $100 as that money is going to the track. That man has to go out and get tents. He has to get tables. He has to get chairs. I paid $100 to go to, like I said, at LCRC, I paid my $100 and I was happy to pay it.
Yep.
I was happy to pay it because I couldn't bring none of that stuff with me. And it would have cost me more than $100 to buy a tent, buy a table, buy chairs, and then find extension cords to run all of that. So just know that that's happening. I 100% understand why you feel that way. And I understand that the fees are $100, but you are going to something a little bit bigger than your local race. So I just know because I know how the split is with the tracks and with the fees and all that stuff. Clayton, thank you for your time. I know you have to go work tomorrow. I'm gonna geek out on RC with people for a little bit here. Thank you guys for all your questions. What's up, Jonathan Curse? How you doing? Don't go anywhere. We're gonna hang out for a little bit after this. And thank you, Fred, for your time. I know it's getting late down there in Brazil, so you can go if you need to. Everybody say thanks to Fred. He's done a great job of bringing up the comments, and he's 1 hour ahead of us, so it's now 11:20 there in Brazil.
Oh wow!
I look forward to seeing Fred in Brazil next year for the World Championships. Thank you, Mr. President. If you guys have any questions, if you want to volunteer, if you want to become a part of Raw, hit this man up. Hit up the Raw Facebook page. Hit him up on Facebook. Contact him at president@rawracing.com.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Clayton, for your time. I will talk to you at the next race.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. So, Fred, if you want to go, thank you for your time, Fred. I greatly appreciate it. It's time to get into the nitty gritty of Lefties Off the Record. I'm not going to be on too long tonight, guys. So if you guys have any questions, if you have anything you want to talk about, give me a second because I have to pee and I have to put on my my sheriff's hat. So get those questions ready. I'll be right back in 1 minute. All righty. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Let's talk about Tyler Jones getting a Sparko car. Just found out who's importing the Sparko car up Power Hobbies up in Jersey somewhere. So it looks like that. I don't know what to think about that. So well, it goes 2 hours. What's up, everybody? I'm surprised you're still on, lads. It's 10:24. I thought you'd be asleep. Thank you guys for. I did not wash my hands, Charlie Mack. I did not wash my hands. It's me, and I'm only her. So, you know, how does I don't. I just use my right hand. I knew those jokes were gonna come. All right, so let's get some topics up here. So LW4 says, here's a track owner interview. Jamie Tenney's from Trackside Hobbies up there in Wisconsin. I'll check that out. All right, so Power Hobbies is gonna bring the Sparko car. We have a lot of chassis coming out now. The Sparko car. I heard that the Ming Yang car is coming to America, which is the HB copy, or they make the HB. We had the HB car coming out here shortly as well, the new one. So that's going to be interesting. We've seen some videos of the Pro Moto X on the track. Not the best videos, I would say. But we've seen them out on there. So yeah, what are we guys going to talk about besides me going to the bathroom? Walter says there are a bunch of Mugans. Lance says took a nap. Oh, I did too, actually, a little bit this afternoon. And I had 2 coffees before I came here. Let me see. I didn't really put down no topics because I thought you guys might want to talk about something. Yeah, I went to sleep. And I had to deal with my daughter this afternoon. Yeah, what did you guys think about Clayton? I like that he comes on. I think we've seen more openness and transparency with Raw in these 6 months than I've seen in my entire time at I would have to. So Kevin Thompson says the ENATs will be a failure because the electric crowd doesn't travel. I have to agree with you there. They don't. And if you look at the numbers, like everybody would say, well, at PMB, the e-buggy was the biggest class. And I looked at it, and yes, the Sportsman e-buggy class was one of the biggest classes there. But then I looked, it was like 75, 80 Nitro buggies. So my thing was that it was like, that should be the biggest class, right? Sportsman e-buggy should probably be the biggest class. It's meant for newcomers. It's meant to come in and help people be, get their foot in the door. So I expect it to be big there. But at the end of the day, we all know that Nitro guys kind of carry this thing. Nitro guys are the guys that run those classes, as like extra classes. So that's why I just feel like having I know there's a few, like Andrew would say, I highly disagree because I'm coming with from the electric crowd. Just in any alone, many drivers will travel 6+ hours for a well put on race. Yeah, but at the same time, right, Andrew, I know guys that live in New York that are e-buggy early guys are not going to this race. So it kind of, that's why I think it just needs to be 1/8 scale nationals, e-buggy, e-truggy, nitro buggy, nitro truggy. Just have it, knock it out in one shebang. I would like to see if I would like to see a nationals B. So that would be my opinion. Yeah, that's So let's see. How do we grow the hobby bash in the street? We need to get this pumped. I think we need to reach out to the bashers and show them that we're doing, what we're doing. We all think that RC is so big, right? But we're not out there enough, right? We said we maybe have 15,000 active racers. That's nothing. In the USA, 15,000 over all the genres. Let's say it's 20. Let's say it's 25. That's still not enough. Still not enough. So we need to be all RC ambassadors. Everything needs to be in, we need to get more RC out in the algorithm. We're saying that. I have some pretty. So I have a video of Little Bump, a reel of Little Bump doing 2 laps at the North Georgia Shootout. 3.5 million views so far. I didn't even know it was going viral like that. And then, sorry. Then on my TikTok right now, this is what's crazy. On my TikTok, I posted that gate start from RCGP at Badlands, 2,888K views on my TikTok. And on Instagram, it got me 300 subs in 24 hours. That's crazy. We don't know what's going to go viral nowadays. So we just need to send everything we can RC related out there. So, all right. I didn't say it will be a failure. I said I just want to get the numbers that it should, that the fuel nets get. Nitro guys show up. The fuel nets may not have sold out this year, but they showed up. And Chico isn't the easiest place to get to. You got to find San Francisco or Sacramento and then drive up. And in NorCal, there's a healthy community of racers in NorCal, but nowhere near as much as SoCal. I wonder if Mayako are looking at a new USA driver. I would think that Mayako needs to be looking at a team manager. Because that's what they need, in my opinion. A team manager and then a USA driver later. Because I think they should just send Runafalk over there to race more. That would what I would do if I was in charge of Mayako. Okay, hold on. Tyler and Sparko. I think he's just testing the car. Like when we said JQ Racing, we sent Tyler Jones a black edition. Nobody knew. I think they're just trying to test. I'll be honest with you. I like Tyler Jones, but I think that ship may have sailed. I think he probably needs to get back and go out there and make some A-mains, get some results. But right now, he just hasn't got those results to warrant him being a paid driver, in my opinion. I like him. I think he's fast, but he hasn't lived up to that win that he got at PMB back in 2019. So I think he can test all these cars. I just want to see him get results, right? I want to see him perform like I know he can perform. But while he's not, there's all these other young kids coming up that are getting faster, So, yeah, I don't know. Kyle McBride looks to be Matthew Lawrence. So Kyle McBride looks to be privately backed by OZRC here in Australia. Chassis choice will be all his. But also, I think that ship sailed for him too. Kyle McBride should have moved to America when he drove for Associated or Europe 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago. He's still very highly talented, but I have to question his work ethic. Not the best. He's had plenty of opportunities. Kyle McBride's won Silver State, done well at Reedy races, made multiple world championship A-mains. I think he's podiumed a few. But I think the biggest thing of Kyle McBride was he needed to get out of Australia. He needed to go to America. And we've talked about this on the podcast a lot. Now he's just taking whatever deal he can get. I believe he might be working with OCRC, but I mean, he's just going to end up being an Australian fast guy. Will they send him on a world tour? Will he be competitive on a worldwide stage? He would have to get out of Australia. It's unfortunate because as another one, I like Kyle. Has all the talent, way more talented than Tyler Jones, and he just never. I think he needed to go to America at some point or Europe and live there for a while and race, right? And just be around those fast guys. So that's my thoughts on that, Matthew. Still like him though, but I think Alex Bernardzack's beat him a few times in Australia. And that's either another one. Alex, he's another one. If he wanted to take this seriously, he would have to come out of Australia and race. Mark Van Orden, all the current big races, PNB, Silver State, etc., do not hold separate events. Raw should follow. Yeah, but they have separate races. So PNB has, it's one of 5 full races. So Dave has Southern Indoor Championships. He has Psycho Nitro Blast. He has Wicked Weekend, which I'm going to next in 2 weeks' time. And then he has AMS coming up here in November. So it's a different, it's different, They also have Sportsman and Intermediate. And they also have E-Buggy and Truggy and all that type of stuff. If that's what you're talking about. If you're talking about the difference between A and B. Donnie's dad. Trophy chasers that run Sportsman are not going to a national race. Too much competition. I have to agree with you. Cody Wildgas. The answer is to stop doing nationals as regularly. Maybe break North America up into Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, Southeast divisions for yearly and do the nationals with the top half a quarter from each biannually. But that's hard to do because the nationals qualify you for the World Championships, which are every 2 years. So I believe the nationals the year before is what qualifies you for the. I love the nationals. Why would we not want to have them every year? I think there should be a Worlds every year. I hate that it's every 2 years, to be honest. Lance McDonald says, your electric only races as a whole are more budgeted races and will have a hard time to justify cost of entry. I 100% agree with you. I do not disagree with you, man. They are, and that's fine. It's nothing wrong with that. They come, those are the races that are at your local tracks. They do a lot of club racing. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. I don't see anything wrong with that. I will 100% agree with you. And as Kevin says, he says, Mark, I wasn't bashing on your event. He says it's just historically been a low entry. I'm talking about the ENATs. I know that you have busted your butt to prep to put on a great event. It's just that racers don't show up. Yeah, I agree with that, man. I think that's why we just need to have it as one event. What's up, Dwayne? How you guys doing? See you guys at AMS. Can't wait. LW4. I used to show videos of my sportsman racing to my class, and I thought it was cool. Yeah, I think it was. I think we just need to do it all. Like I always ask these younger racers what their friends think about it at school, and how can they get their friends racing. EKJ for 24,000. Should Wicked Weekend have a females only class, and do you think females will sign up? So I think you should ask females if they want a female only class, because RC is not, they want to race against the best, right? So in RC, there is nothing that stops a female from being just as fast as a male, or a male from just being just as fast as a female. There's no physical aptitude. It's all hand-eye coordination. There's no strength. Like if you said, if this was a powerlifting competition, should men and women compete? No, of course not, because men are stronger than women in powerlifting and stuff like that. I think if these females wanted a female only race, sure, but I think they want to race against males, because there's no difference between. I used to think that we should have a female class too, but I think that these females want to be out there and race against each other. They want to race against the best too. There's no physical separation between a male and female when it comes to RC racing. That's what makes RC racing great for everybody, right? I used to think that. And then you talk to some of these females and they will tell you that they want to race against males. They want to beat guys. And guys don't like to lose to females. Get used to it. Get used to it. Females are fast RC racers as well. Tyler don't have a chassis sponsor right now, and Sparko Sparko's new. It needs views. Yeah, but if he takes the Sparko and doesn't make A mains, what difference does it make? Sparko's been very aggressive with their marketing, which makes you think they have a lot of money behind them. Very aggressive with their marketing. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with that. The sheriff is brutal. I'm not too brutal. I was brutal earlier. Yeah. And you know what? I guarantee you. So Travis Harrington says, I vote for CRC for the Nitro Nets. And I guarantee you, people will go. People will go. People will fly from all over America to go to that race. I know I'll be there. Martin Pillmeyer. Excuse me if I'm saying your name wrong. If you want to attract bashers to race side, the format has to change. Being at the track for 5 to 7 hours, a total of 30 minutes of driving is not going to excite new people to come try it. Less classes, which equals less investment, equal higher probability of getting bashers getting the bug. Are we talking about club racing? I definitely think that we can. I would accommodate them. So if a basher, I would say have a basher class or a novice class. So if that driver shows up with an Armor or a Typhon and there's put them all in one class, let them all race, let them get a taste. Go out there, help them, turn marshal for them, go over to them and ask them about their cars. It takes more than just that. We have to be ambassadors to them. Stop being these introverted RC nerds. Go up and talk to these guys. Make them feel welcome. They too have to ask questions as well, but they have to feel comfortable asking questions. What are you talking about, Walt? Mugen OG Horror back? Horror ship sailed. Horror was fast in the early 2000s. That he's like horrors are like I don't understand. One thing I don't understand is when an older RC guy comes back, people get so excited, right? That guy's time was up. His time was up. Horror was extremely fast, talented driver. He's bounced around from chassis to chassis. Has he gone back to Mugen now? Is he left Infinity? I don't know. I haven't really been following. Let me know, Walt. I don't know what's going on with that. Matthew Lawrence, yes, correct. Works there. The offer was there from Cav to, I believe, to go to the USA. Oh, he's talking about Carl McBride. Yeah, he should have done that back in when he started with Associated, man. I think he would have been he would be like that like Carl McBride's so fast. Like, I think you guys, he is so talented. I've had the privilege of watching him race, and he is fucking incredibly talented. Like for a guy that didn't travel much or get to race around people of equal speed or faster, it's amazing what he was able to do. I don't know if he can still do it. I hope he does, but we'll see. I have no idea what you're talking about. You're talking about Horrorback, Nitro Challenge. I'm lost. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Empire RC, Lefty, are you going to AMS? That's the plan. We'll be doing a waffle for that next month, I believe, to raise money to get me there. So, Walt, what are you talking? Oh, he's talking about OG stuff like RC Pro Series cutting into Roar. I remember RC Pro Series when Carlton had it. Andrew Bishop, you know what would be great for RC, in my opinion? A rental ride class at Old Track. I agree. Allow families to come up and try cars for the night, such as a slash for, say, $40. Race entry plus repair fees if needed. Think of go-karts. Not many will buy a full race go-kart before running a rental car at a facility. They don't have to spend $2,000 to find out you don't have interest in this hobby. I agree. There's lots of tracks that do that. They have rental rides, and they people get involved in it. I think spec slash is an excellent way for people to get involved into RC on the cheap and easy. Very good. I 100% agree with that. I have no idea what you're talking about, Dan Jones. That's one race a month in a 5-month season. No idea what you're talking about. Must be talking about something earlier. So RC Jura says, I've heard that females have better reaction times. Probably, man. I know my wife's reaction to going from normal to angry at me is extremely fast. So if her hand-eye coordination's like that, then I'm in trouble. And you guys in trouble because that woman can go from lovey to telling me the devil's child quickly. So if her hand-eye coordination is as quick as her brain thinks switches on me, then she can beat everybody. Charlie Mack, to get people into Raw, we should probably use the old RC Pro method that Peter had. To race the series at regional level, you needed a license to run, build credit with racers at races. Yeah, they do that over in England. They have a licensing system where you have to, like, you're at a level. So you have to make it like you're an F2 driver and you want to make it to an F1, which is like the, where you get to run, where you're running in the, higher classes. That's, I agree with that. I agree. Need to steam this hat, Mark Van Dude. I have a steamer at home. I'm gonna take it. Get this done. It's hard. How long do cowboy hats take to break in? I probably need to wear it more. Gnarly RC, why not a private RC league? Does it have to be non-profit? Explain. Like RC Pro Series was a private RC league, I would say, and RC Pro Series that you guys saw is a different RC Pro Series from what I was involved in. When Carlton Epps had RC Pro Series, it was good. It was nationwide and even worldwide because he had it in Puerto Rico. He had it, and he had even had it here in the Dominican Republic at one point. Nick Soto, the old school guys can't let go of old school stuff. I 100% agree with you. Chris Boyder, Tebow is retired. How much longer can the top dogs go? Will we see a 40-plus top pro drivers? I mean, Tebow finished third at the Nationals? Her recently, second in Truggy. He still got it. He just probably doesn't have want to put the time in to commit to doing it. He's got a family and all that stuff. See you later, LW4. I'm going to head out, Lefty. Hope to see you at another race soon. Definitely will check you in the next chance. Like, yeah, man. It's good. Hey, LW4, keep up the good work. Hopefully I'll see you. Are you coming to Wicked Weekend or to AMS? I'll be there. Charlie Mack. Okay, Lefty. People say less classes equals less time at the track. But if you take the same classes and combine them, everyone will still be there. So race time is the same, less even for lower mains. Cap it. I'm kind of lost on that one, Charlie Mack. Yeah, we just talked about that, Brent. What's up, man? Have my package here soon. Thank you. Carl McBride picked the controller up recently. We was just talking about that. Nick Soto, do they feel like stopping RC? Isn't that physically taxing? No, it's not taxing at all. Term marshalling is. Quick and VA says, Adrenaline does SCT rentals. You can also rent the track for private events. I believe Beach RC does that too. So Brent actually at Beach RC during the peak season, like the high season in South Carolina, because it's down there in Myrtle Beach, he advertises in the hotels and stuff. And he says he gets a lot of people that come in and they rent, as part of being there on a vacation, come in and rent cars and go on the track. And then a lot of them leave with cars. Andrew Bishop at Lefty. Remember Mylan Carson? I certainly do. She used to kick butt over there in the European side of things. Yes, she did. I think that Mylan, had she stayed in RC, and her old man was pretty batshit crazy, and that's coming from the X-ray people. I believe that she would have been the first I know we have Jessica Paulson, but this Mylan Carson was faster, right? I think she would have been the first real female pro RC driver beating these guys. She probably could have been a European champion. But, all that bullshit that went on, that was all a whole bunch of bullshit. Bullshit. I got to say bullshit. Walt Carpenter. He says, Lefty, it's happy hour here in Louisiana. like the motorcycle deal. I like the motorcycle deal, but I think they may hurt marshals. They don't turn sharp. What do you think about that? I think e-buggies. Well, I think e-buggies and e-truggies are the silent killer, man. Them things are so quiet. Whew, I do not want to get hit by an e-buggy or e-truggy. Yeah, I think them bikes go fast enough. Yeah, and they got that big tire. They definitely don't turn great. Lance McDonald, nonprofit is intended to keep it honest and transparent. Unfortunately, that stopped six or so years ago. Okay. I wish at Silver State 40 plus is packed with lots of good drivers. Yeah, I mean 40 plus is a very highly competitive class. There's lots of guys out there that race it. And yeah, it's like one of the biggest classes in RC, right? Mike Kaz, they should have a class for stick controller nitro buggy class. Well, I mean, Little Bump, and it will be Little Bump versus Davide Angara and all the Europeans. So I think Little Bump is the only driver I have seen in America using stick control. But over in Europe, it's quite popular. Charlie Mack at Lefty, i.e. entries in Expert 10, Open 10, Sportsman 10. If it's all one class, that's still 30 people. How are you saving time? Not including 40 plus. I'm speaking in an RD POV. You're saving time because you don't have individual qualifying for them. So you don't have a sportsman qualifying session. You just, or individual races for them. I don't know. I'm getting tired. You save time by, that's a better question for Lance McDonald. He's an RD. Brent Jackson, 40 plus e-truggy is the glory. Dude, man, you know what, Charlie Mack, though? I have to say this. E-truggy is way more popular than nitro truggy. Bruggy. So, you know what, Charlie Mack? You better get on your brugging because they're letting that e-truggy get, I mean, I want to e-truggy. I want to race e-truggy. So, I don't know, man. Isaiah Keene, what's up, man? It's been a while. I ain't seen you for a minute. You still racing? Where you two? Are you still on the West Coast? Left, appreciate your time. Man, thank you for joining me. I enjoy these lives. I wasn't planning on doing one, but yeah, I thank you. Thank you, Lance, for joining. You had some great points, especially about your sponsorship. Thank you. And he says, Lefty and everyone, really enjoyed the live night. Have a great night. Keep it rubber side, Don. See you in a couple of weeks, Lance. See you in a couple of weeks. You broke. Yes, you did. You broke Lefty, Charlie. So you're going to have to call me. And right now, I can't think of this. What you're really trying to say. I think that's my issue. Fred's been gone. Sorry, Fred left a few minutes ago. Thank you, Fred. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. You was a great help today. Wall Cobbler. Hey, Lefty, you rock. I'm going to get Charlie and Mac at Bring the Heat. Yeah, that's coming up soon. I know. I asked JQ, Charlie Mac. He never gave me. He's right now. He's pissy Q. He's all pissy right now. So I limit my talking to JQ. He's supposed to interview me next week. We'll see. Why is my computer flashing? Something's up. Something's not good right here. I'm back. There we go. Isaiah says, I had to stop racing for financials. My daughter popping out about 3 years. Yeah, man. Hey, man, I have a 4-year-old daughter and she is not cheap. I have a 4-year-old daughter and 11-year-old son. Also, guys, if you are coming to, why is this flashing now? This is not good. If you are coming to Wicked Weekend and you want some stickers, hit me up. I just got a bunch made. So I'll be giving them away at Wicked Weekend. Dwayne Fetters, I think 7-scale Bruggy sounds better than Bruggy. Buggy sounds better. I don't want to admit that they're I'll be honest with you, man. It's getting hard for me to tell the difference between a buggy and a truggy now at races. Like if I just stop, I have to really look. It's getting ridiculous. I actually agree with Charlie Mack. Bring back the old school truggy bodies, but that's not going to happen. No, it's not that RC. So RC Jar is saying check. It's not that. It's this program acts up when I'm using another program. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm going to be wrapping this up here soon anyway. I'm not going too long tonight. I'm tired tonight. Well, Isaiah, I wish you all the best over there in Virginia Beach. Coastal is very nice over there, run by the Schimmels. And I think you enjoy it. Moving over to Virginia. A little cheaper on the East Coast than it is over there on the West Coast. Yeah, it's getting worse now. Maybe my camera's, I don't know. It's something to do with something around her. I'm going to wrap this up or something. I don't know. I saw it earlier. It's like sometimes when I'm using YouTube and this at the same time, it kind of acts up, but I'm not using YouTube at the same time. So, dude, you are hardcore. You run the Nitro Nets. You was there. Take it easy, D70. Have a good night. If you're going to Barnstormers this weekend, have a good time. Have a good time. I think that's going to be it for me, guys, tonight, too. I'm a little bit tired. I got to get up early. I got to record with Kevin Abbott. I got to record with Max tomorrow, so it's going to be a busy day. I am bringing on another podcast here on Friday. I want to thank all of you guys for all of your time here with Clayton. It was a joy. He was on for a lot longer than I anticipated, but you guys kept it kosher. I appreciate that. We haven't seen this level of transparency in quite some time out of Raw, so I'm loving it. I know a lot of you still are on the what is Raw doing for me thing, and I understand that. I totally do. But we need to be a part of the problem. We need to stop being a part of the problem and be a part of the solution. So, yeah. CL Offer says, my Nitro SAT is waiting on drive says Techno. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. I love to see that. Mike Petroselli, we need to see you at the Big Apple. Maybe next year. I've been talking to Rohan about that for the 10th anniversary. Dany's dad, I will see you in a couple of weeks at Wicked. I am eager to get back to the track. I have been home for too long. I cannot wait. We got a lot of cool things planned for you guys, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys. What's up, 916 VP? How you doing, man? You kind of came in a little late. We're gonna be closing it up here again for 3 hours here. Thank you, Buggy Brent. I appreciate that, man. Keep up the good work, you as well, man. Charlie Mack, it's been good having you in here. RC Jars, Quicken VA, all you guys. Thank you guys for everything. I greatly appreciate it. I know I went 4 hours the last time. What do you think about free practice at local tracks? I think that you should not want anything free from your local track. If you're talking about for new people, yeah, maybe. But remember, that track has to survive and it needs to make money as well. So at that $10, that $5 that they get, that all helps them. That all helps them. Isaiah, good luck on the move over to the Virginia with that 3-year-old, man. I know how it is. You guys have a great evening. Thank you for all the support. If you haven't hit that like sub button on the channel, I hope you guys do. We're almost at 4K, which may not sound like a lot in the big scheme of things, but for me, it's a lot. And Chumley's RC, how you doing, man? You tuned in late. And CL says, only a fool invests in something with no set plans, Lefty. Well, you know what? Only a fool starts working for free. I did that. You want to invest? Invest in a super chat. Or a membership. Or Patreon. There you go. Support the podcast. There you do that. Because you know what? I need those to keep on going. Without money, this podcast cannot exist. I know you see all these sponsors, but I mean, there's a lot of money coming in. A lot of money going out. But, Salty Joe shows up at the end. God, the shit. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everything. Honestly, cannot do this without you guys. Thank you for everything. Love all you guys. If you guys see I'm a little bit salty lately, don't take it personal. I'm enjoying this. It's like sitting here talking shit in the pits. That's why I like it. I see a lot of things going on in RC, and I'm kind of tired of seeing that. I'm tired of seeing excuses. I'm tired of seeing people expecting things and all this type of stuff. RC racing is awesome. I love it, and I just want to see it be bigger and better. And I enjoy going to the races, being with my friends, and I enjoy what I do. And I cannot do it without you guys. And yeah, man. Sometimes you just have to sit off and talk shit and debate, and I enjoy that because I'm super passionate about RC. So if it sounds like I'm being harsh, I'm not. I'm just kind of passionate about what I'm talking about because like I do this for a living. So obviously I'm super passionate about it. So thank you guys. I'll see you guys at Wicked Weekend. I might do a live. I don't know if I'll have time. I think it's 2 weeks before Wicked Weekend. It's the 12th. Maybe I'm leaving on the 25th. So bringing my son too. So I'm happy about that. So come up, say what's up. Let me know if you guys think about me doing some private stuff like Waffle wise. I'm thinking about doing that to make a little extra money for myself. Because RC doesn't pay all the bills. So trying to do that. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the people that became members of the YouTube or my patrons. Greatly appreciate that. I remember we have links for all the awesome sponsors that support the podcast in the written description of this podcast. And thank you to them. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sun Padal USA, Sai One Fuel, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, which I'm getting one of them gas trucks when I go to Wicked Weekend, it sounds like. Stacked RC, Racecraft USA, Call RC, WRC, House of RC. Shout out to our drivers, David Ronafalk, Jared Tebow, Robert Battier, Alexander Hagberg. You guys have a good evening. Nitro's the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. Not at ENATS. Not at ENATS, though. Let's just make it all 1/8 scale nationals. Love you guys like life. One love. And look forward to the podcast coming out on Friday. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you later. Nitro's the glory. Lefty the Sheriff didn't really have to go Lefty the Sheriff tonight. I'm looking for the outro. So you know that's what I'm looking for right now. Hey man, check you guys later. I gotta figure out what's going on with my video here. Don't like that. Bye everybody.